You see her walking down the boulevard. She got the posture of a superstar. She looks so fly in those Gucci slides. Yeah, I wonder what she hides under her disguise. Yeah. And all the girls around the world, they wanna be her. And all the dudes are trying to score like it's fever. She lives a double life, puts on a show. What's under the subtle smile, we'll never know. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her.
Let me paint a picture. I see they don't understand. Feeling like Picasso. She brushing against my hands. Seen you from around the way. You didn't give me the time of day. You be making moves that yeah, who really care what Simon say? All the bad things, girl, I had to look past that. Call yourself a dime, I'm just trying to get my cash back. You be looking fine, so no wonder they can't match that. Louis V scarf, or I'm chilling with a dad hat. Whoa, slow it down like that. Just hold me down like that. Yeah.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her. She's a Mona Lisa.
There's something about the way that you understand. We don't need a rush and we don't need to make no plan. You say, pace yourself, slow it down. And I don't want to waste my days with no one else. I love how it feels. Killing time, you and I. Hours, minutes, days and nights. Trading all of our deadlines for conversations over wine. Killing time, you and I. In this moment we're alive. Infatuated with your eyes and the way they look at mine when we're killing time. There's something about the way you talk with your hand. The way that you say my name when nobody's there. No. You say it's alright. Take your space if you need a break. And if I need to disconnect, that's okay. This ain't no race. Killing time, you and I. Hours, minutes, days and nights. Trading all of our deadlines for conversations over wine. Killing time, you and I. In this moment we're alive. Infatuated with your eyes and the way they look at mine when we're killing time. Killing time, you and I. Hours, minutes, days and nights. Trading all of our deadlines for conversations over wine. Killing time, you and I. In this moment we're alive. Infatuated with your eyes and the way they look at mine when we're killing time. Killing time.
She my pineapple, yeah. She's sour, she's so sweet. Yeah. She got an attitude, I call her pineapple, yeah. She's sweet with sour moods, I need another double. She got an attitude, I call her pineapple, yeah. She's sweet with sour moods, I guess she's all I'm after. My little girl got a sour side, but you know I'm a sucker for some sweetness. Every weekend pulls you in, she knows your weakness. I tell her she's my princess, she just wants to be queen. I call her pineapple and she says, what do you mean? She got an attitude, I call her pineapple, yeah. She's sweet with sour moods, I need another double. She got an attitude, I call her pineapple, yeah. She's sweet with sour moods, I guess she's all I'm after. Yeah, take a slice and look.
Hello there, everybody. You saw the pig intro. You know what time it is then. It's the happy hour time. I'm your host, one of the two hosts, Kevin Logan. I have an awesome keyboard, and joining me, she's a doctor, but she's got a basic fucking keyboard. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Frankly, she should be ashamed. It's Dr. Kristi Winters.
Hey, Kev. So, yeah, I was saying before we came on air that the keyboard I have, I just lost one of the buttons on it. And I was telling Kevin how much I was inspired by his keyboard, so he knows I've got keyboard envy here.
Inspired or jealous?
Yeah, jealous. I'll just admit it.
Yeah, jello.
Yeah.
She's well jello. Thirsty for the light up keyboard and the cock.
Well, we all want to, we're always happy when you get your cock out, Kevin.
Indeed, and I'm sure I will at
So
some
it's good
point.
to see cancel culture.
Indeed.
Yes.
Actually, yeah, one of my bookmarks. Yeah, absolutely the case. Anyway, how was your weekend?
Yeah, good. How was yours?
Fantastic. Thank you for that incredibly fulsome answer, as I was trying to reach down and get my charge thing for my tablet.
Sorry. Well, you see, we have this dynamic where Kevin will say, how are you? And I'll give him like a 5-minute answer, and then I'll go, how are you? And he's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'm all right.
So I just kind of like batted that back at you.
Well, basically, my answer is always, I'm technically still alive, so that's all right.
Technically.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're going to dunk on Jimmy Dore, well-deservedly tonight.
Yeah, man's a motherfucking piece of shit.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
So, backstory.
And then, but Kristi, you also wanted to do a policy discussion thing or something?
Yeah, because I realize that there are a lot of things that I think we agree on, some things that I don't know where you stand. Like, you've said things over the years, but I just thought it'd be worth it to, like, have a little, like a hypothetical, like an ideal society. What would your ideal society look like?
Mad Max.
Yeah, especially the guy who plays the guitar that has the fire flamethrower coming out of the top.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, there's some great editing in that film, by the way.
Yes.
Really masterful.
Indeed so. Hang on, I need to share with you, don't I, at some point?
Well, I mean, I did enjoy your meme.
Oh, yeah, because you're actually watching the show.
Yes, I actually watch our show. Mostly, I occasionally glance down at the chat to see what people are saying, and then I'll interrupt your train of thought to pipe up with something.
Well, I like the fact that the only bits of my shows you ever watch are the ones that you're in.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Outrageous.
I am terminally online. I need to get away sometimes.
Indeed. Yes, so we'll do that, and we've got bookmarks and all the rest of it. All of the good stuff. Yeah. So, James Dore, otherwise known as Jimmy. Yes.
Jimmy Dore. Well, last time we talked about Jimmy.
Well, he's doing
because he had drawn attention to himself.
Well, that's what he does. He's I think accurately described as a red-brown attention whore.
Well, what is red-brown, by the way? What does that phrase refer to?
Basically, fascist, like a red-brown shirt, so like a fascist.
Okay.
Mixed with like some sort of, essentially like Nazbol. It's essentially a a Nazi who paints themselves in an aesthetic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had seen that bopping around. Because I did look at I watched the little drama about the Angie Speaks comment, which I think I bookmarked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Onanism. Yes. Jesus Christ. Yeah, well, they are. The fascia outing themselves, and it's...
Yeah, well, anyway, it was in reference to, she made a reference to, if there's red in your brown, you're already in trouble. I think it was like a poop joke.
It was a poop joke, but she's also a bit of a fascist. Anyway.
All right, well, I leave that to your assessment because I don't know Angie Speaks well enough. Other than
She used to be okay. I used to be fine with Angie.
Yeah.
I'd talked privately with her, and I think I mirrored her first ever video or something. Yeah, she looked promising in terms of being a content creator, and then got sucked down the Peter Coffin wormhole of nonsense.
Yeah.
They are a vortex of bullshit. Don't go near it. It's like the Event Horizon of derp. Just don't.
Yeah, like they make Derrida confused.
Yes.
Sorry, that's a philosophy joke.
No, I know.
For any continental philosophy.
I don't. Yeah, I know it's supposed to be sort of labyrinthine rather than anything, but I don't know enough about it to really get the joke. But I get the joke broadly.
Yeah, the reference at least. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Jimmy Dore used to work at TYT, the Young Turks, and was always a bit of a prick because he did a show called Aggressive Progressives, where he would shout about stuff, and it was always a bit grating and a bit unpleasant. But at least he used to have vaguely decent politics. And then obviously he had a sort of falling out. I think most famously at the TYT, he spat at Alex Jones.
when they met in person at that thing?
Yeah, do you remember they met at, was it Politicon or something? And
No. Well, actually, what I remember is Alex Jones tried to crash the TYT broadcast.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It was at some event or another, and Alex Jones tried to, go there and, was screaming about...
Jenk yelling in his face.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I remember that part.
Anna Kasparian called him a fat fuck, which is a bit unpleasant, but not inaccurate.
I mean, yeah.
And he's only ballooned since, so, I mean, not that I want to talk, but you get the idea. Anyway, and Jimmy Dore spat at him, which is just gross. Even before a pandemic, that's gross. Anyway, but...
I agreed.
Not that I really care, because it's Alex Jones, he's a prick.
Can I just say on that point, I saw a headline that said, "We stopped blowing out candles for COVID, let's not start it up again." And I have to say, I agree with this position.
I don't want flecks of your spittle on the cake.
No. You can have a candle on, you can hold the candle and blow it out, if you want to make a wish. But you don't have to, blow out all over the cake. Or, when kids do it, and they go... And then they cut up the cake into pieces, and you're supposed to eat it.
Yeah, it's unbelievably gross.
Why did we ever do that?
Yeah.
Why did we ever put up with that?
No, gross. Anyway, so talking of gross, Jimmy Dore. Yeah. He was involved recently with a spat with AOC about the hashtag Force the Vote, where they were going to waste their fucking time trying to get a floor vote on Medicare for all on the Congress floor, which wouldn't have gone anywhere, and threatened Nancy Pelosi's seat as Speaker and potentially letting Kevin McCarthy become Speaker, which would completely fuck up the entirety of the legislative process. Anyway, so there was all of that, and that flopped miserably. Literally,
because it was entirely unrealistic. Yeah,
they had a march in Washington, and 15 people turned up.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If the goal is to raise the issue of M4A, I guess you'd call it a success in that it got attention. But on the other hand, it got a lot of negative attention. So not all press is good press. And if the goal was to actually, do something, well, that completely failed. Yeah. So they kind of even if it was a sort of a Pyrrhic victory, if you want to say, in the best case scenario, which I watched a documentary on generals and kings on Pyrrhus and his
Pyrrhus of Epirus. How dare you?
Exactly. And the wars in ancient, in ancient Greece, and his meeting of the Romans and where the term came from. So
indeed,
one more victory like this and we're finished.
Indeed. And of course, Epirus is kind of the progenitor of the modern nation of Albania. So, little thing for you there. Anyway, doesn't matter. But Pyrrhic victory being a victory so so costly, it becomes essentially a loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he that flopped on its arse, and everyone went, "That was silly," and it basically did exactly what I said would happen. People would be deflated at the end of that because you march them to the top of the hill, and then nothing happens, and they would go, "Oh, well, the fuck was the point of it all?" Anyway, so he, being the attention whore piece of garbage that he is, decided to again. He's got a history of this. He's got a history of conspiracy theory stuff. We'll bring that up in a second, and a kind of weird trying to align with the far right in some sort of class-conscious populism thing, which is suspicious.
Yes. We'll get to it, but yes. It's class uber alles, basically.
Yeah, indeed. So, put out this tweet. I interviewed a member of the Boogaloo Boys, although he spelt it Bogaloo. Which, okay, he's a boomer, leave him be. Anyway, I was completely floored when he said he is pro-LGBTQ, pro-Black Lives Matter, anti-police brutality, anti-racism, anti-ICE, anti-war, what the fuck. Okay, we'll get into whether this person was necessarily being honest and whether fascists maybe hide their power levels at times. But
also, does it even fucking matter as long as they're fascists?
Yeah.
Which is, but...
And and the video was called "Radicalized Michigan Anarchist Seeks Unity with the Left," even though this was like a Trump Boogaloo person who wanted, and the Boogaloo Boys, for those who don't know, want a race war. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, but he was kind of like basically saying things like, I don't know if I don't want to jump ahead of where you're going with this. So
no, you say whatever the fuck you damn well please. Like Pyrrhus of Epirus, you charge wildly into battle.
So I watched the interview, and I'll just give you my take because I've been holding on this. What he was basically saying is, here's a Boogaloo boy who is not as, he's not the typical, race war type of person. And we agree on all these other issues. And for me, the whole point of this is, as long as he allies himself with people who want a race war, I don't fucking matter. He's not an ally.
Yeah.
That group is not an ally. As long as they go, oh, well, we can have people in our group who want a race war. That's it. It would be the same thing for TERFs and a lot of other people who want to enforce their bigotry on us using the power of the state. And it doesn't matter to me. He could be pro-choice. He could be whatever. Fuck off. I'm not going to ally with you if you're allies or you're in a group with people who want a race war. Just no. Yeah. Just no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was the actual interview. Now, it's quite long, so I'm not going to play that. But the basic point to take away from it is that Jimmy Dore completely buys into the idea that this Boogaloo boy prick believes these things, and he keeps repeating it as we go through this video, right? So he got a lot of
he's also saying things like, it's class that matters, your class identity matters, and that's what we should be unifying around. And seeing that these people aren't our enemies, they're our friends. I'm again, race war. Yeah. No, they're not our friends.
It is literally peak class reductionism.
Yeah, so he basically, just finding one Boogaloo boy that you agree with does not rescue him or his group.
No, absolutely not. No.
So that was it.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so they did that interview. They got a lot of blowback for it, understandably, because I don't know if you know this, but the left not massively keen on fascists, generally speaking.
No. Historic, like cats and dogs going back in history, fascists and communists have.
True, but it's like that. But if cats and dogs, if cats had been genociding dogs in concentration camps in the past when they've gotten power, that would be a very weird but apt analogy in that case. But anyway. Sophia with a message on this Streamlabs. Streamlabs.com/KFLogan1875 if you want to get your donations in. ALBC, which is a radio station in London, have been found out for encouraging neo-Nazis to call into their radio shows. Is that true? Can you send me a link to that, please?
Well, that's actually in the Facebook group.
Is it? Oh, okay. Well, the Facebook group, again, it's very people-y in there, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got one video up, so maybe I can look at it a little bit later if you want. But I did see the headline about Stammer, someone called, a neo-Nazi calling in was organized. So.
Oh, really? Oh, that's fucked.
Well, I mean, you could search Twitter really quick if you want.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we're done with this page anyway. And he goes, so he got blowback, and then we're going to watch him doing his weird justification / cope effort afterward.
Yes.
Starmer, LBC, Nazi. Mm-hmm. This will get me put on some sort of fucking list. By the way, Keir Starmer is the leader of the Labour Party, so the leader of Her Majesty's loyal opposition. Has Labour leader subjected? That's not a thing.
Is that
latest?
Maybe latest?
Maybe, I don't know. Last month, Keir Starmer was ambushed by a neo-Nazi caller to Nick Ferrari's show. Oh, right-wing prick. He discovered LBC actually invited her on to confront him from Private Eye. Oh, is that a joke from Private Eye, or...?
Let's go find out.
Hang on. So Keir Starmer came in for criticism last month after he being insufficiently robust in challenging a swivel-eyed conspiracy theory that was put to him by a caller when he appeared on the presenter Nick Ferrari's LBC show. But how did that caller end up on the air in the first place? As the show turned to the topic of athletes taking the knee against racism, the caller introduced an LBC as Gemma, said that, quote, racial inequality is now against the indigenous people of Britain. Fucking hell.
What? The Saxons?
Oh, well, no. Well, again, as we've discussed from Benjamin Franklin, that's not indigenous either, because that's Saxony's German. So, anyway, because we are set to become a minority by 2066, unquote. This is a claim. Not
true, by the way.
It's not. No. This is a claim touted by exponents of the quote Great Replacement theory. Conspiracy theory, which has a shadowy elite is conniving to import people from Africa and the Middle East to Europe. The caller also held up Israel as a shining example of an ethno-nationalist country. Fucking hell. Quote, Israel has a state law that they are only the people in that country to have self-determination. Well, why can't I as a British female have that same right, unquote? Firstly,
by the
female.
I literally just saw a headline that Israel is denying immigration to Ugandan Jews.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. They're not even Jewish supremacists. They're specifically their kind of
ideological.
Jewish. Yeah, exactly. The black Jewish people are treated as second-class citizens, and then Arabs as third-class citizens. Yeah, absolutely atrocious. They've literally got different driving lanes. There's a new highway they opened. Different driving lane for Arabs.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Just unspeakable. It is apartheid. I don't know how else you can say. Anyway, but the point is, just because Israel's doing something fucked up doesn't mean we should go, we should import that here. That's awesome. Anyway. Red Flare, an anti-fascist research group, swiftly identified the caller's true identity as Jodie Swingler, a yoga teacher and musician, now residing in Ibiza. So she's such a patriot that she lives in Spain. Fucking hell. Swingler is a supporter of Patriotic Alternative, lol.
Oh, God.
They're the ones that have been going after Mike Stutchbury.
Laura
Towler and all those fuckers. A new fascist party founded by four members of the British National Party in 2019. After her turn on LBC, Swingler took to the airways an episode of The Actual State of Britain, a racist anti-Semitic podcast run by PA supporters. Are those the ones that keep brigading me randomly on a Thursday? I think it is. They do like a show or whatever, and they've discovered me. And so I get randomly on. I think they must do it on Thursdays or something. Because every other Thursday, I start at the end of my show. People start coming and going 1488, and they brigade me. Well, no, it's algorithm helps, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess it's traffic, but knock out, kick the fascists out.
Oh yeah, no, my people, again, the banhammer is to be used, not sparingly. Yeah. In the podcast heard by Red Flare and Private Eye, she reveals the LBC actually encouraged her to call in. She says that a week previously she had made a call to present a Majid Nawaz's show on LBC, claiming that her Millwall supporting husband had booed taking the knee. So, LBC are scum. Brilliant. Mm-hmm. Fucking hell, man. Anyway, I'm going to follow Red Flare in if they've got good stuff going down. And I suggest you do too. Anyway, so... from one set of fash garbage to another. Jimmy Dore. So, Jimmy Dore, piece of trash. Invited a fash onto his show. Basically gave him a hand job, and people didn't like it. Because at least in
Can you,
theory, Jimmy Dore's supposed to be on the left.
Can you read out the title too? Because I think it's a bit cut off. Just his framing.
Oh, sorry, yeah, and I'll put it on the screen for everyone. It says, class solidarity or, quote, deplorables, end quote, question mark, the left's failed messaging.
I personally am going to go on a limb here. I know it's going to be controversial. I don't think calling a bunch of fucking racist fascists deplorables is failed messaging. I think it's a perfect messaging. I don't know how you can look back on the last 4 years and think that anything other than Hillary Clinton was very kind in that comment. She was very diplomatic. These people are scum. Simple as that. Anyway, so let's hear Jimmy Cope.
Yesterday we interviewed this guy who on the inaugural day went to the capital of Michigan and gave this very brief speech. So let's listen to it.
Is that the one where they erected a crucifix, I believe?
I don't. This is where? Portland?
Michigan.
Was it? Michigan?
Lansing, Michigan.
Oh, fucking. All right, yeah, where they
state
took over the Capitol and wanted to kidnap the governor.
Yeah, the state capital, yeah. Although this is on inauguration day. Oh, no, the crucifix was on the 6th, wasn't it? As part of, like, the thing there.
Protest, yeah.
Yeah, but at Lansing as well.
We'll talk about March 4th later on in the show, right?
Yes. March the 4th, the day that Donald Trump and JFK Jr. are going to rise from the political and actual grave and take over or something. Anyway.
What?
BLM, Antifa, Boogaloo, and right-wing militias.
He says BLM, Antifa, and right-wing militias.
They are the antibodies, not the disease that is destroying our country. The disease is a country run by 2 corrupt political parties that do not care about you.
Yeah, apologies about the awful audio. There's like a helicopter? Something like that.
Probably probably police helicopter, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
I
always think to myself, when there's a right-wing militia and he's wearing a fucking balaclava, I'm thinking to myself,
I'm seeing guns there.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is all ammunition here. Gun. The motherfucker speaking's got like a big fuck-off rifle. Yeah. They're all armed. This motherfucker's got a rifle.
Yep.
Jeez, America, what the fuck have you become?
I know.
This is madness.
So deeply incestuous with corporations that they are indistinguishable from each other. A government that spent 6 months debating whether to give their own people $600, but only 24 hours to unanimously agree to give billions of dollars to foreign tyrannical governments and corporations. A government that has bombed villages overseas by...
No, he has a point to a degree here. Although what I will say as a caveat, I didn't realise, and this is why you should look into stuff before, saying it. Do you remember we were going about the omnibus bill and them giving money to, it's like 1.4 billion to Egypt?
Right, yeah.
But that was...
going in there anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It was pre-existing treaty agreements.
They've done it for ages and ages. And also, it wasn't the two parties. It was Republicans holding up aid to the citizens, the residents. It wasn't both parties acting the same. False equivalence, logical fallacy.
Well, yeah, exactly. And by the way, when saying they're giving money to Egypt, and I'm not saying that's good. I don't think they should be doing that necessarily. I've got no problem with aid going there, but this is going to the Egyptian government, and that's...
Yeah, and that's happened basically since Mubarak, I want to say. And Israel and Egypt are like some of the top 2 countries that we give money to as the American government.
Yeah. So, but like I say, when you've already agreed to pay, that's just paying a bill. That's not new money.
Yeah. Did you want to shout out that comment?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've got.
It was related.
Sophia come back with. I'll tweet you my source to the LBC story. Thank you. I'll take a look into that. But we did sort of check up on it anyway. And John Kremboz, you can give me bits on Twitch. Go and follow me on Twitch. If you look at Jimmy Dore as being a solidarist, like pre-World War II, you tick many boxes, and you can only conclude Dore is a fascist. Yeah, I
One of the I didn't mention this, but in another video of his that I watched, he told the story about this one instance where like a group of like black civil rights activists and got together with some like poor people who were racist, and they like through their class consciousness, like they became whatever, like allies. And I'm like,
that's in this one, yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right, then. Well, I'll let him speak for himself. I won't try to paraphrase.
And thank you to this person followed me yesterday and asked me to look at their name properly. It's Jacunty Bollocks. But it's JK underscore unty underscore bol underscore OX. But it's Jacunty Bollocks. Anyway, thank you for subscribing on Twitch, which you can do as well if you want to. The links are below.
Entire life for my supposed safety here. This is a call for unity.
Look at Jimmy, he's so proud.
For all of American people that realize the true threat against us to come together. For every mother mourning her children that was killed by police. For every business crushed down by state lockdowns. For every broken soldier sent to fight wars that have no point.
They do this, fascists. They will try and appeal to leftist sentiment. You can literally find anti-fascist Nazi literature, and I'm talking like OG Hitler Nazi, anti-capitalist propaganda.
Hence they had appropriated socialism.
Yeah, I mean they literally did. When people going about the red colour in the Nazi banner, Hitler literally explained that they chose that specifically to try and entice communists to their meetings. They literally did it, and decades later, people still fall for it. Madness.
This is our last chance to avoid either a tyrannical government or a bloody and pointless civil war among American people who do not have that much against each other and have more in common than they realize. And a message to the government. We come in peace. We do not intend to commit violence.
We come in peace. This motherfucker's got 4 guns,
Yeah.
is it, by the looks of it? What the fuck? This motherfucker's wearing... this motherfucker's not covering the only bit of the face that we want him to cover, which is interesting.
His mouth.
You don't seem very peaceful to me.
No, I have to say, when you're just decked out in ammo and guns, I don't think you're coming in peace. I think you're coming with intimidation.
Yeah.
To silence me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. Actually, I was talking about this with Hannah, and thank you to all the new people who came over from the stream I did with Hannah yesterday. The idiots trying to take guns onto the floor of Congress.
Yeah.
Like, even if they're not going to shoot anyone up, that's intimidating. That's going to put a barrier between you and the other person in a way that does not foster open dialogue, which is the point of that fucking place, is to talk about stuff as freely and as openly as possible to try and get the best legislation and the best governance you can.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at that. We want to talk about why the distance between the two sides of the commons is the length, or where they can step up to and cross the line. You want to explain that?
It's an archaic piece of nonsense where they used to be able to take, well, I think they still can take swords into the Commons, into the House, into the British Parliament, and the distance is what was the kind of normal length of a sword at the time. The distance between the two benches, if you stand, is if you put your arm out stretched with the sword, you couldn't stab the other person.
So even they were like, "You guys need to, you all need to stay apart."
Yeah. But that's really dumb because it's obviously if you look at the British Parliament, if you look at the carpeting, there's a red line that doesn't seem to make sense. That's what that red line is for. But the thing is, if you really wanted to stab some motherfucker, I don't know that a red bit of carpet is really going to stop you.
Well, it might be the excuse that someone would need to say, "Oh, I would, but this red line."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes that's people just need a face-saving way out of a situation they put themselves in.
Exactly. If it weren't for this red bit of carpet, you cad, you bounder, I would slash you from your nave to your arsehole or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, yes. But that was a weird diversion, but there we go.
But I am pleading with you, with tears in my eyes and cracks in my voice. You continue to
really?
I was about to say, do you see any tears or hear any cracks in his voice? It just sounds
None
like
at
a
all.
demagogue shouting. Although, to be fair, he kind of has to shout because, helicopter. But
the American people, they will remain rational no longer. Thank you.
Hang on, when the fuck was the
It's
American
a
people
threat.
rational? When did that happen? I missed that. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Also, I don't think you come in peace when you're talking about an upcoming civil war, and people aren't going to be rational if you don't do what they want, what I want you to do now.
Yeah, because that's the. We're not defining him as a boogaloo boy. That's a label
right,
he
yeah.
attaches to himself, and that Jimmy
Yeah,
Dore is happy to attach to him as well. So that
Yeah.
this is not us like, oh, you call everyone a Nazi. This motherfucker is openly a Boogaloo boy.
Yeah. And he openly associates with a group where people call for race wars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look, and the thing is, I'm sure there probably are some dickheads amongst them who think it's just about, like, I don't know, anti-establishmentarianism or whatever. But I'm sorry, again, the same with the there probably were some socialists who joined the Nazi Party thinking National Socialist, right? That doesn't mean that the rest of the Nazi Party weren't Nazis. That's not how that works. Message.
He's not an exemplar of the misunderstood Boogaloo boys.
Indeed. Cheers, 45. I'm Eyes on Dog, real name. Oh, so you've got two different accounts? Okay. Well, yes. I asked you not to use my name with Joey, so you said you'd call me Joe. Oh, Joey Cunty Bollocks. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Right. Yes. No one subscribed to you. No one subscribed to you would have that name. I did the joke. No one would have that name, and he took the name. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Well, surprised I changed it just for you. Well, thank you, Eyes on J-Dog / Jacunty Bollocks, for being deliciously weird. I love it. Anyway, we were talking about fascists or something? Don't know.
That was it.
So that guy looked like a right-wing militia guy to me, even though I noticed he was wearing the rainbow flag for the LGBT, and he was talking about unity with Black Lives Matter and Antifa. And I was like, who's that guy? And what does that remind me of? That reminds me of Fred Hampton. That reminds me of 1969 when Black Panthers aligned with Confederate flag-wielding working-class whites.
Okay, time out. There's a difference between allying yourself with actual poor people, and the story he tells here is genuinely true. There were poor people who were dispossessed from the South that went to live in Chicago, and they aligned with them. But these were actual poor people who were just ignorant and a bit racist, and they educated them, and that was cool. These people, if we just go back with 209, okay, these motherfuckers have got guns up to the arsehole, right? These have travelled to Michigan. These are not your poor, desperately... He's got a phone... Well, I suppose everyone's got a phone. But these are not, like, desperately poor people. And
That's
it's
not cheap equipment.
Yeah, and it's not just... These aren't just a bit racist. These are trying to do a race war. There's a significant difference between those two events. The equivocation is ridiculous.
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things
Working class whites. What? Ethnic and racial groups each created their own social services and activist networks to combat every kind of oppression. One was the Young Patriot Organization, the YPO, which was based in hillbilly Harlem, an uptown neighborhood of Chicago, populated by displaced white Southerners. So poor white people from the South came to Chicago. They were also treated horribly. Many YPO members flaunted racist, controversial symbols associated with Southern pride, such as the Confederate flag. But
they weren't trying to do a race war.
There's a
significant...
They were out there actually protesting against equality.
Yeah. I don't like the fact that some people fly the Confederate flag. I think it's disgusting. But I think you can educate someone on basic history or something and begin to win them round. Someone who wants to shoot people because of the colour of their skin, I'm not sure you really can.
Yeah. Yep. People talk about the Great Replacement.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And not just that, but he's going about, like, black people here. Let's not pretend that there weren't massively anti-Semitic undertones of the globalists trying to control the people of America. We know what these boogaloo fuckers are like, okay?
Like blacks and Latinos, the white young patriots and their families experienced discrimination in Chicago, too. In their case, it was because they were poor and from the South.
I'm just going to say that's not the same.
No, it's just not, no.
It's being white and poor and being white and from the South is not the same as what blacks were experiencing in Chicago at that point in time.
Yeah. Also, the way the Confederate flag is now treated and the way it was back then is different. Like, clearly, like this, I mean, there was an example with Bill Clinton, who was, still alive, still very much with us. when campaigning in the South, would have the Confederate flag, like on the stand as well. So clearly, not even that long ago, it was like an acceptable thing. It wasn't that taboo.
I don't know that much about like the social significance or meaning, how many people bought into the whatever, the failed quest that they try to reframe it as. But I also I don't care. Like this one example is just an example of some people acting individually. It's not, I know he was like, this is what we should all do. But that was a specific situation with specific people and a specific set of circumstances. That doesn't mean we should just ally with racist. Like, how can you, anyway, but just how can you be on the left and be anti-racist and then go hang out with Boogaloo Boys?
Yeah.
Or anti-racism, I should say. I get it. I just don't see it. I don't see it. You basically have to wink at their racism, in which case you're not really being anti-racism.
Well, he's not anti-racist. He'll go on and suck off Tucker Carlson. Got no problem with that. That alone should be enough for people to go, I'm not sure about this Jimmy Dore character.
Yep. Okay.
You see this? Black Panthers, Confederate flag. Do you see this? Do you see this? Eventually, young patriots rejected their deeply embedded ideas of white supremacy. What? What?
Yeah, deeply embedded ideas of white supremacy, not deeply embedded ideas that we should shoot black people in a race war.
Yes.
That's a rather different... Again, it's a different thing.
Huge. Yeah.
Common garden racism, you can be sort of educated and learn and grow as a person. Race war, you're a psychopath who needs to be, at the very least, shunned, if not kept an eye on by the authorities.
Hey, and when individual members of the Boogaloo Boys reject their deeply embedded ideas of white supremacy, well, then we can talk.
Yeah. But I don't see that happening. I see one or two of them trying to lie and trying to sanitize the message, just like, say, Richard Spencer or any number of other Nazi groups have throughout history, because they realise doing the actual Hitler thing after Hitler, not so successful.
Eventually, young patriots rejected their deeply embedded ideas of white supremacy and even dropped the Confederate flag as they realized how much they had in common with the Black Panthers and Latino youth lords. Despite many differences, the groups united under the umbrella of economic justice. So that's a class struggle. That's Black Panthers and white racists coming together to realize their common enemy and their common struggle, their class struggle.
White
and
supremacy?
guess what they did? They
No, I think that he's trying to basically make the class reductionist argument, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I know. That's kind of what I was poking fun at.
immediately killed those guys. That scares the hell out of the establishment.
Well, yeah, but they also killed Martin Luther King, who took a completely different approach to the Black Panthers. I think it was more the fighting back against white supremacy than the aligning yourself with some racists that was the issue.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you'll notice they didn't kill the white racists, they killed the Black Panthers and Martin Luther King. What's the common denominator there?
And also, I mean, it's undeniable that racism is a foundation upon which racial inequality has been developed and is perpetuated in this country. You can't set aside racial equality if you're trying to work for economic equality. You know,
Yeah.
and then setting aside and working with people who want to kill you just because you share a class interest. It's not plausible.
Yeah.
It's not convincing.
Well, exactly. Your anti-capitalist struggle, if it's only for disenfranchised white people, I'm not that interested in it, frankly.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, what's the society that's going to come out of that at the other side? Is it going to be any better, actually? Because I don't want to live under socialist white supremacy either.
Yes.
I want to live under
Just really-
socialism, true, but
Yeah.
not white supremacy.
Yeah. Even if we just redistributed all the money so that everyone had more, it wouldn't solve racism.
No.
Everything else would stay the same. Just material, conditions would improve.
Yeah.
But there would be no real motivation to deal with the problem that is actually underlying it all.
Yeah,
And we'll probably end up replicating it again because it hasn't been dealt with.
indeed.
That's what scares them. This scares them. And that gentleman I brought on my show was pro-Black Lives Matter. He was pro-LGBTQ. He was anti-ICE. He was anti-war, and he was anti both parties and the corporate takeover of our country.
Yeah, he'll say those things, but for instance, let's take it one at a time. The Boogaloo Boys are trying to do a race war, so the idea that they're compatible with BLM is ridiculous.
Exactly.
They're anti-immigration, so the idea that just because they're against ICE means that they're for something necessarily better, because let's be honest, when they say let's shut down the camps, they mean let's shut down the camps and kick the people out.
Yes.
Is what they mean. In terms of economic justice, they're going about corporate takeover of the country. Firstly, again, you get the impression there's a certain subtle bracketing, let's say, around a kind of echo mark around corporate takeover there. But even if we ignore the obvious anti-Semitism involved in the Boogaloo Boys, they're not for ending the corporate takeover of America. They supported Donald Trump, who gave huge tax cuts to the rich and has further entrenched the corporatocracy. So, I mean, again, they can say whatever they like. Their actions speak rather more loudly.
Also, if he is really pro-BLM, how can he continue to be a member of the Boogaloo Boys?
Yeah, exactly. They're not compatible.
No.
Yeah. Ah, fuck.
Oh, you're drinking.
I forgot. No, I forgot. I went to press the enter, so the space bar, which starts the thing, but I was still on the OBS screen, so it wasn't going to take that command.
And so I brought on this guy. He's supposed to be a socialist from the World Socialist website because they were covering a strike. He was brought on to talk about a strike that they were covering.
He's actually a Trotskyist.
Yeah.
And that guy sounded, you're going to hear what he sounds like, and it's horrible. Now, I think they do.
So, socialist guy, bad.
Boogaloo.
Racist,
boy.
fucking race war thirster. Tucker Carlson, good.
Yes.
Do you wonder
And
why I
by
may
the
be
way-
put in the title that I don't think he's a leftist?
Yeah. Also, I think he gets to talk like a little bit for a while at the start of this, and then Jimmy just keeps interrupting him. But
Jimmy, it's so annoying. Yeah, Jimmy will. I mean, I know I just interrupted you, so it's kind of ironic I'm about to criticise him for that. But yeah, he'll stop every couple of seconds and like do a thing. You think that's not really broadcasting, Jimmy. That's bad. I mean, whatever. Oh yeah, and we're not going to, because this is 46 minutes. We're not going to watch all of this shit. Fuck's sake.
A lot of great work over at the World Socialist website. We feature their work here all the time, but you're going to see how they're misguided and why they're bound to lose, because they have no idea how to reach out to people who are aligned with themselves ideologically. He has no idea how to reach out to that guy who I brought on my show. Go watch the interview. The sweetest guy.
Oh yeah, to the person in the chat.
God.
Oh yeah, I know, it's embarrassing, isn't it? But to the person in the chat, yeah, I've got no problem with someone going on Fox News. You can go on anything. It's what you do with that. And he'll go on Tucker Carlson and pretend like he and Tucker Carlson. Well, actually, from the perspective of a leftist, it would be pretending, but in actuality, it isn't. Pretend that they have the same politics, which means I think they probably do have many of the same politics, and that means that you're like a Fox News gimp, and therefore not on the left.
Compare what he does to what Pete Buttigieg does.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we'll get into it later. I'm a leftist, but I'll take Pete Buttigieg or Amy Klobuchar over garbage like Jimmy Dore any fucking day of the week.
Yeah.
Not
By the way, Utah Outcast in the chat is looking at the screen and says it's like an asshole inception right now.
It is. It is. It is. And by the way, go and subscribe to the Utah Outcasts. They're very good. Atheists in Utah.
Yeah.
Which
Go
means
click
they
on
had
their-
the opportunity to do Magic Pants and they chose not to. Crazy.
He's been unemployed. He's gotten no COVID relief. He's pro Black Lives Matter. He's pro LGBTQ. He's
standing
anti-war.
this guy.
Yeah.
He's standing a Boogaloo Boy.
Yeah. Also, Jimmy, I've been unemployed in my life. I've not gotten relief from the government in my life. I've suffered enormously, well, not enormously, but I've suffered under the weight of that kind of economic pressure in my lifetime. And at no point did I go, tell you what we need to do, kill some black folks. Like, you don't, just because, and again, this is such a disgusting thing that class reductionists will do, is that they talk about the working class, A, largely from the outside, and B, as if being racist is A, allowable, or B, inherent to being working class. And it's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. It's so, A, patronising, and B, just fucking wrong. Factually wrong. Some of the best people, some of the best anti-racists I've ever known have been working class. I'm working class. I find this caricature of the kind of racist, bigoted, uneducated, fucking lesser working class person to be an abhorrent abuse of what leftism should be.
And if I might add a comment, the other thing is, like, how many times do you have to keep making the same mistakes when it comes to understanding the appeal of class identity? And I think in Europe it's quite different because there's more of a history of class as identity through families handed down. Although we see that kind of being worn away now, even in some place like the UK, as people abandon their class identities. But the thing is that even when Marx was starting out, I think there was a misunderstanding of how much class could make people feel united together. I can understand, like, people who work together or people in an industry, but I don't look across, like, it's just, there are things that people identify themselves, groups that they identify themselves as and with, that are far more powerful to them than their class. There are things like maybe their religious background, or maybe their their ethnicity, whatever else. And that is basically what has been used. Racism has been used to perpetuate economic inequality, white supremacy again. And I think part of the problem, I'm just going to say it, is that because of the way it was initially framed, and I think argued for a long time, for me, Marxism tends to always come across as centered in white cis men's bodies. And it deals primarily with their concerns, which is why even though I'm not saying that there aren't Marxists with different backgrounds, but it seems disproportionately that identity is much stronger to white men because there aren't other nexes on which you're discriminated against as a class. And so you think, oh, everyone else is going to get how important class is. And the rest of us are like racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia. I understand I'm not getting paid a lot, or I could get paid whatever else. But I don't, when I go to when I go out at night, I don't want to get beaten up for being gay or being from an ethnic background or being attacked because I'm a woman and perceived to be a victim and, more susceptible or whatever. And I think that just repeating these arguments that you just need to do your class identity, it hasn't worked for the last century, You need to rethink how other people will approach these issues. That's where intersectionality comes in,
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And to me, it's more... because in a minute he's going to accuse your man, the socialist guy, of being divisive or trying to drive a wedge. For me, it's much more divisive to ally yourself with fascists, because fascists they don't serve our interests as working class white people, but they also don't serve our general interest of trying to unite the working class for economic justice, on the basis that the most fucked over are generally people of colour and immigrants and stuff like that, and indeed gay people and women and all the rest of it, who these fascists are dead set on trying to remain impoverished / kicked out of the country, whatever. So for me, it's much more divisive and stops any actual movement for economic justice to align yourselves with people who openly will say that they're against those things.
Yeah, I guess it just goes to the whole negative stereotype about white progressivism being willing to tolerate racism as long as it means getting more white people on board. And when you go out there standing a Boogaloo Boy, even if you're saying, oh, he's not like that, you're still standing him as saying this group isn't as bad as you think it is.
Yeah.
It is. It just is.
No, I was just going to say, you're whitewashing them.
Yeah, and so when you go to black people or people, anyone, Hispanic background ever, and you say, I want to be, I'm an ally, and then you're standing next to a Boogaloo Boy, why would they believe you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just patting on the back. I'm just patting this guy who wants to kill you on the back and saying he's a sweet dude, honest. But I am an ally to you, honest.
Yeah, right.
Like you're not even in the sheep's clothing anymore. Why the fuck would they believe you? Like, this has been a real mask-off thing. Like, I've talked about Jimmy Dore on this show before, and we've talked about it, of course, as well. I've had my significant, like fuckery radar detector going off for a long time on this bastard, and this, for me, is like the true mask-off. Once you start stanning the Boogaloo Boys, there's no coming back from this unless you have a road to Damascus moment, which he's not going to, because financially this works for him. He gets to go on Tucker Carlson, he gets to earn a fortune, and you know what? Yes. From a pure grifting point of view, he's absolutely nailed it. But that's still deplorable in the literal and metaphorical sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He hates both the parties. That seemed the guy who would be ripe for a socialist party to have a message to help that guy to come over to their side. That's what they're supposed to do. In fact, it's incumbent.
Wait, Jimmy, isn't he already on your side?
Yeah.
What do you mean come over to... Yeah.
If he supports BLM, he's against ICE, he's against homophobia and all the rest of it, what are you trying to convert him on exactly? Because he sounds awesome. Yeah. Apparently, according to you, he's already a leftist.
Yes.
So, almost, James, like, you're full of shit, mate.
Mm-hmm. On them to have a recruiting message for people like that, because as we all know, economic disasters create people who are ripe to be taken over by right-wing demagogues. So that's why if you're a true socialist or a leftist, you got to get to them. You got to have...
Yeah, I'd go on Tucker in a heartbeat. I'd go on Tucker and I'd call him a cunt. Yeah.
You would too.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. You
wouldn't even care about the fine.
No, fuck it, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It is good for, like, getting out there. I've got no problem with leftists going on, like, right-wing show. I've been on right-wing shows. It's what you do with that. If you sit there sucking their dick,
yeah, you fight your corner.
You reveal who you are. Whereas if you fight back and say, Tucker, what happened with that white nationalist you had as your lead writer, mate? That's a bit strange for an anti-racist, isn't it? Like, that might, when you start pointing that stuff out to them,
you want to do counter-programming when they give you a platform.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But that's why Tucker Carlson has him back on, because he knows he's not going to actually challenge him on anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kevin should do the weather on Fox.
Rich white guys.
Okay. And we've got a warm front of fascism coming in from the east. Or something.
Have a message for them, especially someone who's as open-minded as that guy, who is not racist, who is against the war, who's against both parties, who's for Black Lives Matter, and who's...
I don't know that if you say you're pro-BLM because you're anti-police, that guarantees you're not racist.
Yeah, because I don't know if you noticed, but on the 6th, those people seem pretty anti-police too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can be for a position for a wrong or fucked up reason.
Yep.
If you're against the police because they're trying to stop you do fascism, on the odd occasion they do actually stand up to fascists, which is rare, but they do. Then you can still go fuck yourself. I'm not an ally. We had the same thing to a degree with the atheist movement as such. That people will say, "Oh, we should have like a grouping of atheists. You should stick together as atheists." No, that's not a thing. I'm not going to ally myself with people who I don't believe stuff with. I'm going to stick to people who I do believe stuff with. So give me a progressive Christian, Jew, Muslim, Hindu, whatever, over a fucking neo-Nazi atheist any day of the week.
Any day. Yep.
For LGBTQ. And you watch, this is going to be one of the craziest interviews, I think, maybe the craziest interview I've ever did on this show. So here we go.
Sure. Listen, first of all, thank you for inviting me. But I must admit, when you invited me, and I'm more than happy to discuss the Hunts Point strike, which is very critical, I didn't realize who the guest before me was. And I must admit that it's very disturbing to believe that when you talk about left or progressive politics, that this has anything to do with the politics of the Boogaloo Boys and such extreme right-wing forces. Yep. This guy indicated, by the way, that he was at the demonstration in Lansing in April, which stormed the state capitol. And that was a demonstration which was very much in Lansing at opposing any lockdowns in the state of Michigan or lockdowns anywhere.
Because the government told people to lock their businesses down, Jerry, and then they didn't give them any money. So people were desperate. People are...
But again, they weren't there as concerned lower class citizens. Again, these motherfuckers are largely middle class, because I don't know if you noticed, but they generally tend to storm these buildings on work days when working class people are at fucking work. Right? These are middle class motherfuckers. We had the woman who literally took a private fucking jet to Washington DC to fucking do a thing, although she's in prison. Lol.
And like the 20% of them that were in the military or were cops.
Exactly. These are not the downtrodden lumpen proletariat that are being fucking radicalized here. This is largely middle class motherfuckers. And I'm not saying, by the way, that they don't have grievance against the way in which the lockdowns are being done and relief isn't being given and all the rest of it. Those are perfectly salient arguments to be having. But these motherfuckers were literally there. They might as well have been spitting in each other's mouths and licking doorknobs and stuff. These people are just anti-science lunatics. They're not interested in... This is not an economic justice thing. This is them being a fucking horrific wannabe libertarian piece of shit.
Yeah, this wasn't them going to the Capitol with a peaceful redress of grievances based on sending checks out, right, or state support. Yeah. They wanted to end the lockdown. Now, how is it going to help people that you seem to care about? How is the answer to helping the people you're worried about that are so desperate is to get them to go back to work and get sick and maybe die?
Yeah.
How is that a solution? It's not. So stop defending it.
It's not. Oh, by the way, this is another thing. This guy did not get invited back on Tucker Carlson. So thank you to whoever sent me this. This is good. This is Rutger Bregman.
You jumped the bandwagon. You're all like, oh, I'm against the globalist elite, blah, blah, blah. It's not very convincing, to be honest.
Oh, and on air, yeah, because he basically called him a prick. They didn't put it on air. Yeah. But okay. Jimmy Dore, I don't think Jimmy Dore's ever had a segment cut by Tucker. Strange.
Why don't you go yourself, you tiny brain, and I hope this gets picked up. Because you're a moron. I tried to give you a hearing, but you were too annoying for me.
You can't handle the criticism, can you? We gotta be talking about taxes. Yes. That's it. Taxes, taxes, taxes. All the rest is bullshit, in my opinion.
I mean, it feels like I'm at a firefighters conference, and no one's allowed to speak about water. That's one of the great moments, maybe the great moment in Davos history. Rutger Bregman is the author of Utopia for Realists, and he joins us now. Mr. Bregman, I can't stop laughing just listening to that. And part of that makes me wonder, are you the first person ever to note that people are flying private to talk about global warming and that none of them mention tax avoidance? Has anyone ever said that before at Davos that you know of?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on Davos history, but it is a bit hypocritical, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And others have noted that. We've noted it on this show. We've just never gone to Davos and said it out loud as you did. So if I was wearing a hat, I would take it off to you. What response did you get?
The more we learn.
Oh, damn you adverts.
Yes. Making money for YouTube on live.
I mean, they were not very happy with me, but I'm just I think a random Dutch historian who's basically saying whatever around the globe is.
By the way, just as Dutch got mentioned, stay safe to all my Dutch comrades. Crazy ass rioting and shit going on in Holland right now.
Really?
Yeah. Lockdown fuckery and some crazy violence going on.
Thinking, the vast majority of Americans, for years and years now, according to the polls, including Fox News viewers and including Republicans, are in favor of higher taxes on the rich. Higher inheritance taxes, marginal tax rates, higher wealth taxes. It's all really mainstream. But no one's saying that at Davos, just as no one's saying it on Fox News, right? And I think the explanation for that is quite simple. Is that
oh my God, I'm loving this
Davos, but also here on this channel, have been bought by the billionaire class.
Oh, yes. That's the point. Jimmy Dore goes on about Tucker Carlson being anti-establishment because occasionally he'll come out and go, I don't think BP should be allowed to drown seagulls in oil. You know what I mean? Like, that's about it.
Most anodyne things.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But there's literally, he's on tape saying that he's Rupert Murdoch's bitch. Who describes it? Who with a backbone describes himself in that way? Like, yeah. He's not anti-establishment. He's just the same...
No.
Faux...
He'll throw out populist red meat from time to time.
Yeah, he's the same faux populism as Johnson and Trump and all these fucking arseholes.
Yeah.
Le Pen in France. Please don't, France. Don't fucking start with me.
Not meant to say these things. So I just went there and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to say it, just as I'm saying it right here on this channel.
Well, what was interesting, I thought, about what you said was you noted something. I mean, many people have called for higher taxes. Very few.
Well, not on this channel, is it? I mean, almost all of the pundits on this channel for years have been against higher taxes, right? Even though the vast majority of Americans is in favor of it.
I mean, I don't know. It would be
I'm getting a flutter in my heart here.
Went off script there, and Tucker didn't know where to go with it. Yeah, look, I just wanted you to go on and talk about how the Jews are swindling people. Come on now. Anyway.
Yeah, so now he's gonna turn nasty. But I'm sorry, I'm just like I'm fangirling over here. I'm getting a bit woozy. I
Rightly
might
so.
need a fainting couch.
Rightly so. I mean, I'm not gay, but he can have his way with me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how many hours of Fox you've watched, but I'm interested in what you said about tax avoidance. So I mean, just because someone faces a specific tax rate does not mean that person pays that tax rate at all. I don't think Netflix, for example, paid any taxes last year. At all. So what would you do specifically to make certain that this class of people pays what they're supposed to pay?
Well, it's about multiple things. So we should really crack down on tax paradises and on tax avoidance. That's a major issue. But it's also about having higher taxes. So in the 1950s, for example, in the 1960s,
He is so on
the golden
message.
age of capitalism, as historians called it, we had top marginal tax rate for the very rich. Of about 70, 80, 90% actually under Eisenhower, the Republican president. And this was also one of the best periods in American history. Same is true for the UK and the rest of Europe.
Mention unions.
Yeah. I mean, people going in Britain, they revere Winston Churchill. They forget the top rate of tax was 95+% during the war. Yeah. That's, I mean, again, that was our finest hour. Let's have some. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that part again. We don't want the war part, but we'll take that part.
Well, exactly, yeah. Well, yeah, thankfully the war part hasn't out because the nations of Europe decided to join together in common cause rather than, being separate and stupid and isolationist about it. And it's kept peace in Europe for the longest period ever. But
also
so you'd
respecting national borders.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to be.
Don't invade your neighbors anymore.
Yeah, you'd have to be really stupid to want to leave that kind of solid peace. You know what I mean? That would be a really dumb thing to do, wouldn't it? God, I hate this place.
So as a historian, for me, it's all not, it's really not rocket science. We should go back to simple and straightforward solutions from the past.
Right, but this country was sustained, and since you're a historian, I guess you would know this, sustained by an industrial economy at the time that was broad and deep, that created a middle class. That doesn't exist
No unions did.
anymore. So it's an entirely different economy. I wish it did exist.
Oh well, but that's not really an issue. I mean,
tax rates work the same way with an entirely different economy?
Well, I think it would. I mean, America is still pretty much the most powerful country in the world, right? So if it really would want to, it could easily crack down on tax paradises. But the thing is, I mean, you guys have brought into power a president that doesn't even want to show its own tax returns. I mean, who knows how many billions he has hidden in the Cayman Islands or in Bermuda. So I think the issue really is one of corruption and of people being bribed. And
I wonder why Fox cut this bit. Shocking.
And I love how on message he is. He's just like, he needs to run for office. He's so brilliantly on message.
Yeah.
Not being, not talking about the real issues. What the family, what the Murdochs basically want you to do is to scapegoat immigrants instead of talking about tax avoidance. So I'm glad you're now finally raising the issue. But that's what's been happening for the past couple of years.
And I'm taking orders from the Murdochs. Is that what you're
Yes. You literally, in your own words, you're Rupert Murdoch's bitch. Yes, Tucker, that is precisely the case.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't work that directly, but I mean, you've been part of the Cato Institute, right? You've been a senior fellow there for years. You've been taking their dirty money. They're funded by coke billionaires, you know.
Wait, why don't you tell me how it does work?
Well, it works by you taking their dirty money. It's as easy as that. I mean, you are a millionaire funded by billionaires. That's what you are. And I'm glad you now finally jumped the bandwagon, you know, of people like Bernie Sanders and AOC. But you're not part of the solution, Mr. Carlson. You're part of the problem, actually.
AOC, but can I just say?
It's true, right? It's true, right?
He's stuttering now.
Yeah. Exactly. He just wanted to go on and have like vague, like George Soros Davos conspiracy bullshit, and this dude's dropping truth bombs on him. Nice.
all the anchors on Fox. They're all millionaires. How is this possible? Well, it's very easy. You're just not talking about certain things.
Fox doesn't even play where you are.
It doesn't play where you are.
Well, it certainly plays here in Britain. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Tucker knows about international satellite television and how that works in Europe,
but with the internet, you can get it anywhere.
That's true, yeah.
Well, have you heard of the internet?
Well, yeah,
I can watch things whatever I want, you know? I have, actually. I can't say I'm a great fan of your show, but I do my homework when you invite me on your show.
Oh, yes. Oh,
So,
he's getting hotter by the minute.
You're probably not going to air this, but I went to Davos to speak truth to power, and I'm doing exactly the same thing right now. You might not like it, but you're a millionaire funded by billionaires, and that's the reason why you're not talking about these issues.
But I am talking about these issues.
Yeah, only now. Come on, you jumped the bandwagon. You're all like, oh, I'm against the globalist elite, blah, blah, blah. It's not very convincing, to be honest.
Why don't you go yourself? And I hope this gets picked up, because you're a moron. I tried to get you a hearing, but you were too annoying for me.
You can't handle the criticism, can you?
Oh, that's beautiful.
I need a cigarette after that.
Yeah, I think that gets a tweet. And I think I remember seeing that a while back, but we'll have...
I don't, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad that was in my life. It's a memory I have now.
Yeah, thank you to everybody for whoever the fuck sent that. I never remember the name of the person, but thank you nonetheless. Oh, anyway.
So that was a nice palate cleanser from Jimmy.
You get invited on Fox. That's how you do it. You don't go on there and give him a fucking rusty trombone, the guy, which is what fucking Jimmy does. Jesus.
Yeah, I think that's called what you would call a master class in what to do on Fox, you know, when you get on a platform on Fox.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that smile. He did that Dutch guy who's just like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I planned to do this the whole time. Like, you didn't know this was coming, but I knew this was coming.
Yeah.
I planned this out.
Exactly, yeah.
I did my homework on you. I had my lines prepared. Oh, he's so good.
Indeed.
Are desperate, Jerry. I don't know if you know what's going on, but this isn't happening in any other country in the world. When they lock down your business and another...
He's got a book, you say? Yeah, link me to, if Bregman's got a book, yeah, link me to that.
Ah.
Definitely. Okay. Looks like an interesting guy.
Country, they pay their workers their salary, and they give them health care. Neither of that is happening in this country, Jerry. And so that's why people were protesting against the lockdowns, because they weren't giving them any money. He leaves that part out conveniently.
Because it's not really true. Again, I'm not saying that people wouldn't be annoyed by this, but these same motherfuckers will think that the $600 check thing is socialism. So clearly this isn't like... They're not trying to... it's not economic grievance that's fueling that.
Yeah. And also, if it wasn't for Republican obstructionism, it would be Democrats arguing on how large the checks should be, not whether or not they went out.
Yeah. Well, exactly, yeah. It's the fucking... again, it's the Republicans going, oh, it's socialism's! No!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But both sides of Jimmy. Just go ahead.
But we need to give Jeff Bezos a massive Massive check.
Yeah.
By the way, if you want to give me some of Jeff Bezos' money, you can subscribe to me via Amazon Prime for free on Twitch. Redistribute the wealth, comrades.
So he can demonize deplorables. Here we go.
The slightest measures to protect public health against.
So, and the reason, and so he's saying.
See, he didn't even let him get a sentence out.
I
Fuck.
said.
Yeah.
Did I not say?
Yeah. Thank you to super. What's that? Oh, hang on. Super _ amazing for subscribing, and Dark Cookie 23 for subscribing. Thank you. There you go. See, I put it out there, and already we've got 2 lots of redistribution of Jeff Bezos' money. Good.
It's about.
If this keeps up at this pace, we'll end him financially in about 6,000 years.
That guy I had on my show, that guy didn't say anything. Like I said, that we never even talked about. Anyway, here we go.
COVID, and this extreme right-wing demonstration financed by the Betsy DeVos and other right-wingers.
Yeah, billionaires,
was used to advance the herd immunity policy, which has left more than 420,000 people dead in the United States. And in fact,
the overwhelming majority of whom are poor, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to, maybe look after the working class, don't stand people who are coughing in working class people's faces. Maybe.
In fact, one of the chief demands of the Hunts Point workers is against the terrible conditions that have led to 400 infections and 6 deaths amongst the Hunts Point workers.
Yeah, and that's the point. He was come on to speak about this strike, and like he says, part of the thing was that they were not given proper PPE and protection and all the rest of it, and lots of their workers had become infected, and that's obviously a health and safety fucking nightmare, and that was part of the reason they went on strike. So that's a socialist talking practically about an actual thing. I don't know how involved he is, but that's what he was there to talk about, right? Practically about a thing to do with the lockdown and how health could be actually protected, whereas Jimmy's
and
like
safety.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas Jimmy's like, no, but we need to be on board with the racists who are fucking spitting in old ladies' mouths, please.
Yeah, who want to end the lockdown
Yeah.
so that more workers can get sick.
Although, fucking hell, did you see Newsom, the prick? He's
Yeah,
opening
I saw
up.
something about he's letting some of the restrictions ease up.
We reported.
Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, we reported on Friday that there was fucking smog in
they had to reduce. No, they had to cut back
Oh, yeah.
regulations on crematoriums.
Yeah, on crematoriums. So the air quality was going to go down in
Well, it was more
Los
like
Angeles.
that was I think it was the restrictions on crematoriums are a consequence of attempts to control the pollution.
Oh, okay,
But
yeah.
because of the backlog, they were easing them on crematoriums.
Yeah.
They agreed to get special exemptions in order to process. Yeah. It makes no sense to me. I have no idea.
So-
I'll have to read up on it, but it just makes no sense given where California is. So.
Yeah, that's it, unbelievably silly. But what can you do?
I mean, the idea that somehow this is the unity of left and right. I mean, what is there is a historical precedent. The Nazis called themselves revolutionists. They called themselves opponents of
So he's literally calling a guy who was a guest on my show right before him, a guy who's pro LGBTQ, pro Black Lives Matter, anti police brutality, anti war, anti imperialism, and anti the
Is he
2-party
anti-race?
corporate duopoly.
But not anti-racism.
No. Also, let's say the Nazis called themselves socialists.
Yeah.
They clearly can't have been anti-Jewish because they had a Jewish person in the 1936 German Olympic team. So clearly they couldn't have been anti-Jewish. Clearly, that can't have been the case. So clearly the Nazis are okay as well, James?
Jimmy, if you feel like you have so much in common with this guy anyway, and the whole point is to bring them over, why didn't you use your interview to convince him to leave the Boogaloo Boys?
Yeah. Fuck's sake, it's so annoying. You're making me agree with this guy, and I don't even know his politics.
He's a Trotskyist. He says it later on.
Oh, okay.
And he's anti-ICE. And this guy's calling him a Nazi.
Well, yes, you are.
Just because he wants to do a race war, you call him a Nazi? It's political correctness gone mad. I mean, what do you have to do? Wait for them to start literally constructing the gas chambers before you go, I tell you what, they might be lying about this racism bit. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the people like this on the left want to drive a wedge in our country.
Unlike racists, unlike Boogaloo Boys, who definitely don't want to do that. No.
Honestly, I am fine with driving a wedge between people who are anti-racism and then like people who are sort of not self-aware about, like, especially in the stuff I say. Let me talk about white people, right? People of color understand racism from the day they're born and they experience it the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's just say like conditioned bigotry, right? Unreflective in that situation. And then, yeah, I want to drive a wedge between us and people who are actively like wanting racist policies and hurting fellow citizens. Yeah, let's drive a wedge there. Let's draw that line in the sand. I'm fine with that. Let's go.
Absolutely, yeah. Because that's worth it. Because the thing is, the reason that racism is bad, because people don't choose to be a thing. You don't choose to be white, black, whatever. Whereas being racist, you can't, I mean, to a degree, obviously, you're inculcated within a racist system and stuff. But you can choose to act on that or not. You're a grown adult. That's something for which you can use severe prejudice, frankly. You're allowed to criticize, critique, ostracize, or even punish for actions. That's the difference, fundamentally, it seems to me. So I'm happy, like you say, I'm happy to drive that wedge. Whereas between white and black people, like, say, the Boogaloo Boys want to, no.
Exactly.
The international Jewish capitalist conspiracy. This has nothing to do with left politics. It has nothing to do with progressive politics. My movement, the Socialist Equality Party, we're seeking to build a genuine movement of the working class. That's why we've intervened among the striking workers at Hunts Point. We are above all internationalists. I mean, the right wing promotes nationalism. They tell American workers, as Trump does, that the cause of our problems are Mexican workers stealing our jobs, everything the trade union...
Motherfucker, what? This is what annoys me about you. He went like, he did the hands
like,
thing.
oh, there you go again.
What? Are you, I mean, is he denying that Trump did that? Is he saying...
These are all accurate statements.
Yeah, either he's denying that Trump did that as a deliberate tactic, or he thinks that it was good and therefore you shouldn't be criticising him for it. Otherwise, why would you give that hand gesture at that point?
Yep.
If any Jimmy Dore stands want to get back in touch with me and tell me why that would be okay, why, like, oh, that's fine. Like, maybe some other third option for me.
Yep. Look at him being all correct on the fact that the right wing appeals to nationalism.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you to Field Weddle, who subscribed with Prime. Again, you can do so for free if you've got an Amazon Prime thing. Again, at this rate, Bezos is going to be penniless within the next million years, probably.
Yeah, he'll just work in credits at that point.
Exactly, yeah.
He's transcend, currencies.
Yeah. Let's impoverish Bezos. That's what I say. It's okay. I don't want to be on Twitch anyway. It's fine.
Unions have promoted for 40 years that have produced a disaster for the working class. American workers are in a struggle against global corporations, global banks, and we cannot take one step forward unless we unite with our brothers and sisters all over the world against the capitalist system.
But not people willing to unite with you in your own country.
Anyone want to?
Racist, yeah.
But not just that. But anyone want to tell me that isn't just absolute boilerplate Nazbol bullshit? So, so you'll happily be on board with someone from a foreign country, but one of us. You don't want to ally with an American. What are you, some sort of disgusting fifth columnist? Like, you fucking piece of dirt. At no point did this man say, we can't unite with people in America. He was literally saying, we need to unite to take on these forces.
Yeah.
He was just clearly saying, let's not do it with fascists.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You can't take those things on with all of workers if you're aligning yourself with fascists. You have to, like, say, you know, like racism, transphobia, homophobia, all these things. Like, you can't, if you're going to exclude those workers, you can't be part of our movement.
Yeah.
That has to be a condition.
Yeah.
It's not optional.
That's why, I mean, in our branch of our trade union, we've taken a strong stance. Whenever anyone's used that kind of racist, bigoted language, we generally do kick them out. Like, it doesn't help us financially, of course, but we're not going to have, like, black members and gay members and all the rest of it being treated as some kind of second-class outsider group within our organisation. It's not going to fucking happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's only right and fair.
Either you stand for everyone or you don't, but you can't do that by, like, aligning yourselves with people who are racists, because that's not for everyone. It's an inherent contradiction in the goals of your movement.
Yeah, exactly. Why didn't you say to the Boogaloo boy, why don't you want to unite with black people? Why do you want to shoot them? Because they're Americans, aren't they? Black Americans. So why are you having a go at the socialist guy but not the far right guy? Because you gave him a pretty softball interview. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to vet people in other countries for their whatever it is you don't like about them. But a guy right here who's, again, pro-LGBTQ, pro-Black Lives Matter, anti-police brutality, anti-ICE.
They're against police brutality against them.
Yeah. Exactly. It's kind of like, again, I see their support for BLM as an anti-police thing, not a pro-Black Lives thing.
Because, you know, Boogaloo Boys on the 6th, even before they stormed the building, even before Trump had riled them all up, there was a rather horrific piece of footage. I think we showed it on the on a show at the time, or the next show after that or whatever, of them recreate 2 Boogaloo Boys on the steps of the church at Black Lives Matter Plaza, reenacting the murder of George Floyd on the steps there.
Yep.
I'm sorry, you're not
Did you bring
against...
that up to your guest?
Yeah, you're not against police brutality at that point, are you? When you're literally actively celebrating at BLM Plaza, so quite pointedly, the murder of a black man by the police.
Yes. And again, let's say this guy, like, I don't believe him, but let's just say that he actually holds all these views and he is so close to understanding, like, you just need to extend that to people based on their ethnicity, and then you can just walk away from the Boogaloo Boys.
Yeah.
As opposed to standing a member of the Boogaloo Boys.
And again,
like,
I've got no problem with him even interviewing a Boogaloo Boy necessarily, although I'm... deplatforming's a thing, and it's a difficult thing. But if you take the editorial stance that you will talk to people, like you can talk to Nazis and maybe convince them of something, or at least make an example of them so other people know that will get you socially ostracised or whatever, right? That's an argument to be had. But if you have the Boogaloo Boy on, you do have to say, so what's with the race war then, you prick? You can't be like, so anyway, tell me about your economic circumstances.
Yes.
I need my audience to be very sympathetic to your viewpoint. Like, that's not okay.
That guy's somehow beyond the pale for guys like that. And you see why lefties don't organize right. You see why. You see why you never heard of this guy. You see why.
Motherfucker.
You just throw people of color under the bus, everything would work out, you guys.
But, he goes on about why the left don't organise right. You just had to stop them, the Force the Vote march with 15 people. It would have been 16, but Jimmy didn't even turn up to his own march. Sorry, mate.
Is that like when UKIP leader cancelled his own speech because of the poor attendance?
I think so.
Why this guy's never accomplished anything.
So I really wanted to make that very clear. It is flirting with such elements. They're libertarian elements, right-wing elements like that. I mean, those are the people
You're flirting with libertarian... Oh, my God! You're not allowed to talk to libertarians.
Is there a difference between flirting and talking?
Honestly, he's platforming and normalizing a Boogaloo Boy.
Yeah.
That's what happened there.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, talking is fine, but challenge them.
Exactly.
Push them. Ask, like, if you have all these views, why don't you just leave the Boogaloo Boys and join a different group?
Yeah. Well, look at his reaction, and again, I made this point when we talked about him before. Look at the way in which he will talk about Tucker Carlson or the Boogaloo Boy or Assad, the fucking Syrian prick who he's taking money from. But then look at the way he'll talk about AOC or Bernie or any number or this socialist guy, right? And tell me which side this motherfucker's on. Please look at the disparate reactions he has, where he'll scream and shout and call AOC a piece of shit, but we'll go on about how Tucker Carlson's he's an economic populist. We don't agree on everything, but like fuck off. This motherfucker's a right wing stalking horse piece of garbage, which is literally why I did that meme. Because he is that meme. He's a rightist entry point. He's a fucking Trojan horse piece of trash who needs to be excised from the left. Anyway. Are we basically about done with this?
I think so.
Dickhead.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yes. So you want, before we go on to the bookmarks then, you wanted to do a discussion about policy or something?
Yeah, I was just because you made a comment in a show the other week, and I was kind of surprised at it, and it wasn't like it was like a shock and all that surprising, but I was like, well, what does he mean by that, or what does he think that's going to accomplish? And I realized that I didn't know. So yeah, I just thought we'd have a bit of a talking bit as opposed to like reacting to things bit, and ask you like, so what is your ideal society? Like, what if you had the ability to like make changes? What would it look like? How would it work? Obviously, it's or what are your political goals? That might be a better thing. Is like, and you can think about long term, short term too. But I just want a better sense of like, not only I think I understand your political values, but I don't know that I have an accurate understanding of the way that you think the procedures or the methods of fixing things, or the way that they ought to be, how they could work better, I should say. Ought is a moral thing, so let's just how normatively how you could do it better. So
okay, well, firstly, I don't have an absolute answer in terms of this, which I think is probably understandable. I am a socialist. I believe, generally speaking, that people who work in a workplace should control the means of that production. I'm much more amenable to things like mutualism or market socialism than I think a lot of other socialists who take a much more hardline approach to it. But I'm okay with a certain element of market forces involved in that socialism.
Okay, so can you pause there? Because you're already way ahead of me.
Oh, okay, sorry, go on.
Yeah, just on a basic level, like how do you see that working?
Well, this is the problem. The reason that I will get accused by people on the left of being a liberal or whatever is because I will advocate for things like social democracy or even fucking basic bitch liberalism in places like America, where it's basically the best they can do. I am a pragmatist, not out of any positive sense of trying to get stuff accomplished, but because I'm incredibly downbeat about the prospects for humanity. And I mean that genuinely. I make a joke about it, but my opinion of humans as a group is not massively high. I don't think that I'm certainly not convinced that humanity in its current form and the way societies are currently structured can actually achieve socialism. That hurts me enormously to have to say, but I think it's true. So in the short term, I will advocate for things that I don't think are optimal, or in some cases that I don't think are even good. Look at my advocacy for voting for Joe Biden, for instance. I don't think he's good, but I'm happy to go with it because it's the best we can do right now. So it's a kind of negative pragmatism that leads me to advocate for things like, say, Scandinavian-style social democracy, because I think it's probably the best we can do right now, and all I can do is pass the torch to the next generation, and hopefully the world is in a slightly better place and humanity has progressed to a slightly better point where maybe they can build it or something.
The struggle continues.
Yeah, so it's, in terms of how we get to the place, I don't think we can right now. So in terms of the mechanisms, I can't really answer the question.
Okay, that's fair.
So what do you see then? I'll turn it back on you. How would you? What's your ideal society?
I think we're actually very much in agreement. Like, I like the idea of socialism. I just don't trust that. I just don't trust that human beings as a group could make it work. And I don't think it's like all human beings. I think that there's a subset of human beings who would fuck it up for everyone else. So I think there are people who are more willing to like tolerate or to work for the equality of others and be compassionate and think about the public good. But there are people who are just always going to be selfish and greedy and want more. And so while I like it, and maybe we can evolve toward it, I generally tend to think about things in the much more short term. So like you, a sort of pragmatism. My ideal government is, or the one that I, I like living in social democracies. I've experienced them. I think they're great. Can they be improved? Absolutely. Are they an improvement on my life in the United States? Absolutely. And so if you ask me like on German policies, like I generally think the family leave policy is very, very good, but it's also kind of sexist and patriarchal. So it can be tweaked. Like there's always room for improvement in moving things forward, but in the US, I always, like what my personal politics are and what I think we can get in America are two completely different things. And so I'm always kind of looking to the next Congress with an eye on a long-term goal. But I tend to think, okay, like how can we get enough of the centrist voters to back our candidates in order to get the policies that we want, or as many of them as we can get. And so I think that is why, just like you, Biden wasn't my first choice, but I think the framework of American politics, because it being a two-party system, really does not allow for the kind of political parties that I could support if I was voting in a European election.
Yeah.
Like you can choose to vote between Labor and the Greens. I mean, you're generally going to vote Labor, but you have that option like for the European elections when you want it. Like I don't have an option. I mean, I have to back the Democrats. If the Democrats fail, everybody fails.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole point. Like for me, Joe Biden should be the right-wing candidate, and there should be a party to the left of where the Democrats are, and that for me would be a genuine appraisal of things.
I think
but that's
he's more
not
too pro-union to be a comfortable conservative in some cases. I think he'd probably be more like a red Tory.
Well, exactly. But this is the.
I'm sorry, a red Labor person or whatever they say. He's
blue,
like on the more conservative.
Blue Labor.
Blue Labor. Sorry, I get the colors mixed up because I'm tired.
Yeah, but that's the way round it would sort of be in my mind in like a normal society. But America is not a normal society. And so Joe Biden, as much as I dislike him on any number of fucking levels, although to be fair, so far he's brought a lot of goodwill for me because he's pretty much everything. In terms of the,
he's a union guy.
He's
a union guy.
Well, we'll get to it. There's some bits and bobs on that. But in terms of all of his executive orders so far, I think I've pretty much agreed with all of them, which is almost impossible. But he's managed it. So for the short term at least, goodwill. We'll see where it goes. Tentative approval. But regardless, I still am not like a political acolyte of his, and that's fine. I'm sure he would feel the same if he knew who I was.
Him.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm happy with him. Is he, and will I disagree with him? Will he probably be better on domestic issues than foreign? Absolutely. But yeah, in terms of like progressive policies, tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
But
this is the whole point of, like I say, the kind of negative pragmatism is America is not ready for socialism, and anyone who thinks it is fucking wrong. I'm sorry, you're just incorrect. I bless you. I'm sure you come from a good place psychologically, or from a good place philosophically, or sociologically, or whatever. But you're just wrong. And the best you can do right now is to destroy the fascists. And getting rid of Trump was a decent start to that. At least, had you not gotten rid of Trump, you wouldn't have been able to start that. I don't think, because the chances of you actually having a fair election next time were slim to zero. So you didn't really have a fair one this time. You were, with the fuckery with the USPS and taking away voting boxes and all the rest of it. And of course the general gerrymandering and the fucking electoral college and the voter suppression. It's awful. Anyway, but the point is, the best you can do right now is just try and make the situation as less shit as it is. And Joe Biden's your only man for that. So, again, it's not nice to have to admit, but that's the best you can do right now. But like you say, in Britain, if Joe Biden was the leader of the Labour Party, I would be furious.
Yeah.
we've got someone
Although
even
it'd still be better for unions, I think.
Oh no, it'd still be better, and I'd probably still have to vote for the prick. But it you know, I mean, Keir Starmer, the current Labour leader, is to the left of Joe Biden, and I fucking hate him. So it's well, not hate, but I'm not a fan. Let's say, certainly. I mean, there's all. Let's not go into it, it's complicated, but yeah. So it's a matter of what's the best you can do in any situation. I think the sneering aspect of some people on the left towards harm reduction is unproductive and plays into the hands of those who wish to destroy any freedoms and liberties that we have and any basis upon which socialism can be built.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
and the other the other thing too, and I'll just be upfront about it. Like the economy is not the top of my pyramid, I should say, of my most important issues. And I think I definitely put a greater weight on sort of things that, I mean, I understand that there are a lot of people in the States who are suffering economically. It's not like it's not an issue. But when I think about racism, police violence, I think about the attack on women's bodies, or people with uteruses bodies, I should say, when it comes to abortion access, when it comes to gun violence, for me, there are a lot more immediate, like kind of like life or death issues that from like it's just not, I don't frame everything in terms of the economy. And for me, it's like one of those things like, okay, we need a minimum wage increase, we need healthcare, we need to keep working on these things, but that's not going to be the framework with which I see everything. And I think that's probably where I run into a lot of differences with people on the left who put a much higher priority on economic struggle and kind of see things more from an economic struggle, whereas I tend to see the problems of economic struggle coming from, in part, racism, sexism, homophobia, other bigotries, and structural problems in society that are preventing people who, even when they're working, they're making less than their white counterparts, or they're less likely to get employed than their white counterparts. And so I don't, it's not my end all, and so I think that's where because I'm more of an identity politics, I guess, emphasis than putting, like, those issues are the ones that I care about addressing in the immediate term while we work long term for economic reforms.
Yeah. And I get that. I think, like, I don't necessarily even see it as a hierarchy of wants or whatever, because for me it's, and I'm not going to try and out intersectional you here, but this is, for me, this is how I view intersectionalism, is that they are all interconnected, and that you can't just take one or the other thing on, albeit that if we were to correct a lot of the economic issues, that would help a lot of marginalised people too. So I get the draw for economic or class reductionism. I understand why it's attractive to some people, but they're just wrong, and it leads them down a really dark path towards the kind of fash pipeline thing, which is really bad. Yeah. So, one question I was going to ask you, actually, because you mentioned.
Actually, can I make a point on this before I forget?
Yeah, go on.
Which is, this might explain it a little bit better. If we change people's material condition, that won't change racism or sexism. Like, it's not a necessary change that would happen, right?
I think it would affect it.
Wait, let me finish,
yeah.
Right? Like, let me make my point. Rich people are racist. Rich people are sexist. Yes, your material conditions would be changed, but there's no motivation. There's no structural motivation there to suddenly end your racism or any of your other bigotries. Whereas I think that if you deal with racism, the knock-on effect is economic equality, reducing the racial wealth gap, reducing the education and the investment in public education. So I see those intersectional identity issues as actually being more pressing to deal with in order to remedy a lot of the existing economic issues that wouldn't just necessarily be, changed through redistribution.
Yeah, I would say that it would have an impact on racism. It won't destroy racism, not at all. But I've definitely seen in my life.
But how?
Well, it would reduce racism in the sense that I've seen certainly in my own lifetime, the way you tackle open fascism, for instance. A lot of people, they'll still be racist internally or whatever, but it won't actually affect the way in which they act, or certainly they'll be more open to people from different groups. If you give them, say, like, decent housing, decent schooling, things like that, right? If you just make those material improvements to their lives, they don't need to look for a scapegoat. And so it reduces the overall racism in society. It doesn't get rid of racism. It's a much more complicated issue than that. But I've certainly, like I say, within my own lifetime, I've seen the way in which material benefit in people's lives and them feeling more comfortable will definitely reduce the likelihood for them to go towards those more far-right ideas.
Okay, well, I'm not talking about so much fascism in that sense. I'm thinking more like Republican voters. I'm thinking about like, guys who own car dealerships and farmers and, other people who vote NRA and for their guns or whatever and have a Confederate flag. I think, if their union negotiated doubled their pay, they wouldn't take that Confederate flag off the back of their pickup.
Yeah. No, well, to be
So,
fair, I always try and treat America as its own thing. Like I don't.
And that's also, I think, part of it is you're coming from a European perspective.
Yeah.
I'm coming from, an American perspective on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I always try and treat America as its own standalone thing because it's a genuinely unique place. Not only in the sense that it's been the economic and cultural hegemon of Earth for the last 30 years, and arguably basically the last 50 because the Soviet Union was in decline. And so it's the feeling of kind of supremacy is very different. Also, the gun issue is a hugely complex thing, which is very different to here. And the healthcare issue is very, very different to basically every other industrialized economy. So I sort of treat it as its own standalone thing. So I was talking more about Europe, really.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I think Europe, you're right. I mean, Europe and the United States are very different. Even Canada I'll throw in there in terms of lumping them with Europe in terms of where the political values are and also the historical context. Because in the United States, we didn't have a landed aristocracy. Class consciousness was basically masked by racial animus. And so it was like white, it was like giving small amounts of power to poor white people to get them on side and then just be happy with their lot. And that, I think, obviously prevented a lot of class consciousness and class unity, which is what Tim Weiss, like lots of people say, not just, me or anything else. And so that class aware, like the sense of class identity, that's just even with the discourse, they just talk about middle class families and they mean like literally everybody. You very, very rarely hear them talking about like, the poor people in America, even like the phrase working families is not a class phrase.
Yeah.
So there's a real lack of class, even in the discourse on the left. That kind of language just doesn't convey the same meanings that it would in a European context.
Oh, hang on, that's not right. I was going to just make one clarification. You said that there weren't like a landed aristocracy in America. I think there probably was.
I mean, inheritance-based one. So
Well,
I'm thinking more about the structure of royalty, aristocracy, and inheritance. Whereas, yes, there was a wealthy class. There was the bourgeois class that basically rose to political elites, aristocracy, and then but it wasn't kind of with the peasants' revolts and the history of, that kind of stuff. It's not analogous.
I think it is to a degree analogous. The say the antebellum South, the planter class. I think there's a pretty reasonable similarity in terms of their social placing and how they operated. But
I think also you need to take into account, or what I'm taking into account, is the way that we kept stealing other people's lands, and that westward expansion gave people distance not only from government but also from there were railroads and big companies and stuff, but there wasn't that kind of generational, like this duke passes his seat on and now you sort of live with this royal in your area, just like your family has for the last 7 generations.
Yeah. Well, one question I was just going to ask, because you raised a point, it was seemingly a long time ago in this conversation now, but about selfishness and greed in people being sort of inherent, I think you were implying?
Well, I think there are groups of people. I think there are, not all people, but I think within any given society, there are people who are going to, want more, try to get more. I mean, I don't think that you changing the material, like Donald Trump is still voracious. Doesn't matter how much money he has. He's always pursuing and wanting to consume more. And he's a bit sociopathic in that. So I think that's there's no way you can educate people out of that. I think there's just variation in how brain structures work.
Okay, well, how do you feel about the socialist argument, which I think is persuasive to an extent, of that a lot of the greed that you might see as inherent is from the mindset of the capitalist structure as it exists now and its incentives, and if that were taken away, that once you had a generation of people who were raised without the profit motive in mind and without that kind of need for selfishness and greed as a survival instinct in many cases, not in Donald Trump's case, of course, but in a lot of people, you have to join the rat race. You have to be red in tooth and claw, right? But in order to survive, because, that's what poverty is. That if you had, once you got a generation of people that were raised in a socialist mindset and with socialist economic forces, that greed might begin to dissipate because that need to be greedy wouldn't be there anymore.
I don't think capitalism is the driving force of that. I look at human history, and people get power and they start invading and they want more. Rome could have been happy, but it kept expanding. Empires, people want more. I just think that it's not about education or having the right set of values. If you just have a society where people grow up and everything's happy, you're going to get basically a manufacturing where you get the same kind of people that you put in. That's never worked. Human nature there's too much variation. There already, there are people who would be resisting it already inside of it, or questioning it, or whatever else. And so no, I think that if you just look back through human history and how humans have just generally behaved, they've always sought more and better conditions and nicer life, easier things. And that's kind of, I think, one generation definitely, I don't know. I don't know. I think that part of it might just be hardwired. Part of a survival thing is to hoard for when the bad times are there.
Possibly so. I'd posit that as a...
No, I understand. Do you think? I don't have that much faith in education changing human nature.
Well, I think that's, if anything,
consistently.
If there's any takeaway from this, neither Kristi or I have enormous amounts of faith in people.
No, well, but I still have hope. I still want a better society. I just, that's a real contradiction, isn't it?
I have hope, but I don't have delusion.
Yeah, yes. I only have probably at the most another 25 years on this planet, if that. And I want to see what I can get done in the time that I have, and I don't think a revolution would do the things that the small incremental changes would make in terms of progressive change over time.
Wow. But we'll wait and see. But I thought that was...
Well, no, we'll probably die first, but...
Well, that's... ultimately, that's the thing that underpins all of this, is that I'm certain, regardless of any progress that gets made, I won't see socialism, and that's sad. But it's true. But that doesn't mean you stop, because, the old often misquoted or silly, stupidly quoted adage about society growing great when trees are planted by men who know they won't sit in the shade of that tree is true. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, in my lifetime, we've had marriage equality, we've had mainstreaming of a lot of LGBTQIA issues. Not all of them are dealt with, obviously, but we are winning and we're moving in the right direction. We've got increasing acceptance, and that is well-deserved for trans people, with the Biden administration leading in the military. We have a lot of work to do in the social level, but, just within my lifetime, I'm seeing big changes that show me that, these little steps along the way can make a big difference over a generation.
Yeah. And also within our lifetimes, we've had Boaty McBoatface. So
as well. You've also produced that as a culture.
Just goes to show you democracy doesn't work. Anyway.
So was that I thought that was a good chat.
Yeah, I thought that was nice, yeah. I think as I said, the next 4 years are going to test. They're going to strain the differences between us, I think. We've been...
Well, maybe this chat will have helped out.
Well, hopefully so. We can... we were able for the entire run of this show up until last Wednesday to unite around the fact that fuck Trump, right? Whereas now it's a bit more complicated, so...
Not yet.
Well, not at this exact moment, but it will become more complicated. Let's be honest. Life does not. The calm waters never last very long in any sea. So, yes. Any questions you have for us, leave them in the description, or you can go to streamlabs.com/Kevin Logan 1875. It's linked below, and you can ask us questions, and maybe we'll answer them. Maybe we won't.
Probably
I don't
not.
know.
We could do a Q&A section at the end of the show when you're dithering around with your weak pull-out game.
Well, no, because that'll just make it weaker. It might fucking magnetise my cock to the fucking uterus. I don't know.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
There's only one way to find out, indeed. Anyway, should we get on with some bookmarks?
Yeah. I think you already set us up.
I have indeed.
Sorry, I got a tickle in the back of my throat.
That's what she said.
I'll take a sip. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I noticed that my water is like down to about 1/8 of the glass, and I might need to go get some more.
You go and do that then, and I will talk to the chitty chats.
Yeah, you could do a Q&A now. Get some questions in.
No,
all right.
No, I'm just going to plug stuff.
Ask him questions. All right, bye.
Okay. Yes. Whilst I've got you on my own, I might as well plug some stuff. Clips channel, motherfuckers. Go and subscribe to the Clips channel. It's linked below. I put out a thing today from the thing I did with Hannah, where we're talking about War Corps / the Lord of Patriarchy. So you should go and follow the Clips channel. Also, go and subscribe to Javi, the leftist loudmouth, the Cunado de Esquerdas in the chat there. They do awesome work. They're a Spanish comrade and they're fucking awesome. Anyway, go and follow them. Go and hit the subscribe button on the YouTube if you haven't already. Go and follow me on Twitch, please. The link is below. You can do that for free. You can also subscribe to me there. It does cost you money, but you can do. So that's, if you wanted to. Again, you can do so for free. If you've got Bezos books, if you've got an Amazon Prime, you can give me a subscription for free there. But yes, streamlabs.com /KFLogan1875, link below if you want to get your super chats in. There's also the Patreon if you want to give me like a monthly recurring thing. All helps the show. I'm almost at a point where I can do this for a living now, which is fucking amazing. And thank you so much for all of your support. So if you wanted to, if you find my work of some use, you can help keep the show going in that way if you wanted to. There's also my social medias, so Twitter, Facebook, all of that, all linked below, and the Happy Hour Facebook group, which you should join as well. A goodly group of people who post links about all kinds of different stories and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. Your chat with Hannah, I did Hannah Reloaded from the Hannah and Jake channel, what was previously the Bible Reloaded. I did a thing with them yesterday looking at different Chud videos and stuff. That was the previous video to this on my main channel, but also on the Clips channel. Go and subscribe to the Clips channel.
Hey, I'm back.
And there we go.
Yeah, did you have fun?
I had so much fun, Kristi. I was hoping you wouldn't fucking return. No, I'm only joking. No, I was giving out plugs. That's all I was doing.
Okay.
I was just plugging. Cool. So, yes.
I bet you were.
Heyo. This woman, Gina Bisagno, however the fuck you pronounce that, apologies. Anyway, she's a Beverly Hills salon owner. So, again, in terms of the working class element of this movement, Jimmy, you're wrong. Anyway, yes, she was taken back into custody. She was briefly released, but then taken back into custody because she was involved in the insurrection thing. And one of the things that she was quoted as having said from the tapes was, "Everybody, we need gas masks, we need weapons, we need strong, angry patriots." Yeah. Suggests.
Go to jail.
Yeah. Enjoy jail. Yeah. So, this is nice. My cat has become obsessed with sitting in on my Zoom calls and has now perfected the art of glaring straight down the camera.
I love that.
Look at that.
I absolutely love that.
That is a fierce cat.
I want a cat that sits in on my Zoom calls now.
Yeah. Raphael Warnock. Just a nice thing. Last time I was here in 2017, Capitol Police were escorting me to central booking for leading a non-violent protest of an immoral budget. This time they just showed me to my office.
Someone did how it started, how it's going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is the thing with America. You're electing like good people, and that makes you better than us now. Like Georgia just put a black guy and a Jew in the Senate. The fuck? It's amazing. Even Georgia's electing cooler people than us. Fucking hell.
Yeah. that great meme of the last time a Jewish man and a black man saved the world, and it was the scene from Independence Day with Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith with their cigars.
Indeed. Oh, Niall and Nat donated $5. Thank you very much on the Streamlabs. If you and Kristi, but that's Kristi with a Y, so I don't know who you're talking about.
Ooh, mystery woman.
Outrageous. Could give a right-winger a humiliating superpower, what would he be? I.e., Sargon could read people's mind, but he has to shit himself to do it. Oh wow, what would I do? I'd give War Corpse the power of sentience, which for him would be a superpower. But he'd have to be sober to do it.
I would give Sargon the superpower that every time he said something he hadn't read or looked up or really was knowledgeable about, he'd have to say, "Don't believe me when I say this." Every time he speaks.
Well, that would be the only thing he ever fucking said.
Pretty much.
That would be his entire.
It's not really a superpower. That's just like a lie. It's a fact checker as a superpower. Yeah. He would be his own fact checker. That would be his superpower.
It could, yeah. He's got the power to read his own mind. Ooh.
Yeah. Be honest about it.
Yeah. Oh, this is nice. Crazy MAGA woman. This is, by the way, I'm putting together no, this was already in the latest cringe compilation, wasn't it?
I saw that one.
Yeah. But I'm putting together another one. I found a thing called Clapper, which we've got some stuff coming from up, and it's like fash TikTok, basically.
Great.
Because they keep getting kicked off TikTok, so they did their own thing, and I'm sure they'll get shut down just like Parler and Gab and fucking Minds or whatever. Anyway, because they're garbage and they break everything they touch. Anyway, and there's some fucking crazy bastards on it, man. Fuck.
True American patriots are not going to stand for this shit. And if you think we're not coming for you, guess what? You've already declared war amongst your people. We're coming. And 83 million people are not going to stand for this shit. So good luck, because I can assure you we'll be the last ones standing when it's all over with. For those of you who've been on my most recent videos, trying to spew hate and tell me that you're reporting me to the FBI. Excuse me if I don't fucking care.
I wasn't going to make a video, but I fear for the safety of myself and my family, considering the fact that Secret Service has come in and interrogated my entire family the last 2 days and they're looking for my whereabouts. I have no reason not to comply with you. However, I'm not meeting you anywhere. I'm not guilty of anything.
Well, but what about just comply?
Yeah, exactly.
What if she just complied?
Exactly, and also I don't know the legal strategy of saying, I publicly hereby acknowledge that the federal law enforcement officers want to speak to me, but I'm going to run away from them. I don't know that plays well in the long run for you.
No.
And for those of you who have reached out to my local and state police to start this nonsense to begin with, I know exactly who you are. And trust me, I will be giving names out.
So it turns out she did care about them doing that.
Yeah.
If it isn't the consequences of my own actions again.
Yes. The ghost of consequences past, or actions past, I should say.
Oh no, this one was a joke, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, someone knitted a Bernie Sanders. Crochet Sanders, always good.
I want to just hats off on the gloves. Look at that work on the gloves.
That is beautiful. Yeah.
That's pretty accurate, I think.
Yeah. Oh God, the coping MAGA people. Now I know how the Native Americans felt. #America stolen.
I'm sorry, did somebody move into your house and kick you out and then drive you into another city while giving you infected blankets? Oh no? Then you don't.
Do you want to see something arguably more offensive?
Oh sure, why not?
This one from...
Oh God,
well,
no,
this was
from Roots.
Yeah, what was the Donald.win? Even they've abandoned the name Donald. They're now called Patriots.win. Even the Donald don't want to be associated with the Donald anymore.
Oh.
Anyway, so it's going to be hard now on this unity thing from me, dog. Oh, sorry, a hard no from me on unity. Trump supporters for the last 4 years, people who now want unity, and that's a slave being whipped.
I can't even with this. Like, it's so offensive.
Yeah, just garbage. Absolute
Yeah.
garbage.
Complete.
Fuck's nearly 4,000 upvotes on that. Mad. Here's a cat pushing a car. Boom. Look at that. It's the only thing
It's trying to
stopping
help.
it. The only thing stopping
Yeah.
it from going over that edge, that cat. Genius. Anyway. Oh, yeah, the one joke. When you're the first female vice president, but can't claim it since your party doesn't recognise genders.
It's not how that works.
Doesn't-
It's not how
does-
any of this works.
No, it's not how anything works. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're so desperate, like your only way of making a joke is to lie about your opponent, you're pathetic. It's funny when it's true. See, that's why we can laugh at conservatives, because our critiques of you are based on your own hypocrisy and putting your foot, just like being ridiculous. You have to lie about what people think to try to make a joke. Yeah. The right can't mean.
Indeed. Yeah. What was I going to say? Yes, so Nigel Farage, Jesus. Right, so going on about, they've removed the bust of Churchill. No. And this, for me, the general cause, this comment so perfectly sums up, so precisely and in such a kind of concise manner, my feelings towards my own country. And this person's also British, by the way.
Okay.
The quote controversy unquote this controversy is a perfect demonstration of why I have such contempt for my own country. Our prevailing culture is one of petty, easily swayed dullards who are obsessed with a past greatness which wasn't all that great.
Mm-hmm. Also, I did see something, maybe it was Now This, did a piece on how Biden decorated the Oval Office. And everybody in there is American, I noticed. So, and it has more diversity. It's got some of the founders, which, it has Benjamin Franklin, who now every time I look at him, I just cringe. After we read that comment from him, I can't, look him in the eye anymore.
You should have moved to Saxony then, the white bit of German.
But there's a bust of MLK in there, and also a couple of other famous Americans who contributed things. And so, moving a British person out of the Oval Office, is that really so surprising?
No.
I mean, how many foreign leaders does the prime minister keep in his office, I wonder? Does he have a statue of Barack Obama? A bust of Barack Obama? Ronald Reagan?
I would imagine no.
So, maybe shut up about that.
Basically, yes. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, Cesar Chavez. He has a bust of Cesar Chavez. That's right. Thank you. There was also a woman's bust. That sounded.
A woman's bust. Hey.
A bust of a woman whose name. I was only on the screen for a second and I missed it. If anyone knows that one too, but maybe I might have it bookmarked.
Yeah.
You might take a look.
Indeed. Exactly. Why would you have Churchill? Like a fucking his vice president. Her dad was from India. No, mum was from India. Yeah, and Churchill literally killed millions of Indians. Probably best to just move him. The thing is, they haven't even chucked him in the bin. They've just put him in a different bit.
Yes, yeah. They moved him out of the Oval Office.
Be grateful for that much. Because, I'm not even entirely sure he accepted American independence, to be honest, but maybe that's the only area me and him agree on, I think. Anyway. Oh, fuck's sake. These people are insane. Should we alternate? Right, questions to ask someone who thinks Biden is president. You go first. You do the first one.
Was Biden denied a military plane to bring him to D.C.?
Why was the typical song for the arrival of POTUS not played for Biden during his inauguration?
Wasn't Biden rendered a 21-gun salute as customary for an incoming president? Like Trump received the same day, January 20.
Yeah, which he ordered for himself.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. That's like wanking and saying you got laid.
Checkmate, liberals.
It's nothing. Why
Did guns go off?
Yeah. I certainly discharged my barrel. Yes. Why was Biden's inauguration streamed as live in Spain 10 hours before the scheduled time?
Oh, I couldn't see the why. Okay, sorry. I just saw was. I didn't realize because sometimes it's.
These are all why was. Yeah. Well, technically it's asterisk Y. I don't know what that is. Anyway, yeah, their theory that it was pre-recorded, which, I mean, Washington's quite a densely populated city. I think they'd notice.
Yeah, I think they noticed the fireworks going off.
Yeah. Did you see those fucking fireworks? There's so much fireworks. Gee, so many fireworks, whatever. Yeah.
No, well, so much as well. I mean, but in a sort of colloquial way. But I mean, what else? They didn't really have people there, so they knew it was going to be a televised thing, and it's really boring to watch people, give speechify. So yeah, but you know what everyone loves? Fucking fireworks, man.
Pretty
Especially
colours and loud bangs. Yes.
Except not the dogs, obviously, some of the animals, but people on television, they take the dog in the other room. It won't scare them. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, Rory used to hate fireworks, and now couldn't give a fuck.
And of course, they had Katy Perry singing fireworks.
Fireworks. As fireworks are going off, because
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
cool.
their new thing, their gotcha on Biden. He wasn't wearing a mask when he was stood alone by the Lincoln Memorial.
Yes. Yeah, I think someone said they was like, yeah, he didn't wear a mask when he was within 10 feet of somebody made of stone.
Exactly.
Marble.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's hardly John Wilkes Booth in terms of trying to kill Lincoln, really, is it? Come on,
yes.
Come on.
He's not gonna. Yeah, I don't think Lincoln's statue will be contagious or able to be infected. Oh, I think it's my turn. Why did Biden remove his hand from the fake Bible? It was his family Bible, wasn't it? Before his oath was finished. There's no time limit. It's not like if you take your hand off, it doesn't count anymore. It's the oath that counts. You don't even need a Bible.
Well, he should have just kept his hand on there, but fingers crossed behind the back. Therefore, it doesn't count.
Where is that in this list?
Yeah.
Why did Bible cross his fingers when swearing his oath?
Yeah. Why did Biden get sworn in after Kamala, which is not constitutional, even though there's literally nothing in the Constitution about any order? You can do it in any order you like. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Maybe because he's not an egotistic prick. Yeah. And he wanted to give her a moment. I mean, I think she introduced him when he did his acceptance speech, which is not traditional as well. Yeah. So, yeah, not constitutional.
Allowing black people to vote isn't really traditional in America either. So,
certainly not in the Constitution.
Yeah. Indeed.
Well, I mean, through the amendments it is, but not the original document.
Yeah. But they did have the rights of 3/5 of a human. So that's
for the purposes of the census.
Yeah.
That's it.
Indeed. Why did military... this is brilliantly worded. Why did military turn their back to Biden when he drove by them rather than face and salute, which is an absolute requirement for service members? No, it isn't.
I don't even know. I don't think that happened.
Yeah. Well, of course, none of this fucking happened. It's all bollocks.
No, right. Yeah. Yes. Like, he didn't remove his hand. It wasn't a fake Bible. Okay, anyway. Why doesn't Biden seem to have the military launch clothes near him? Like the ones pictured near Trump in Florida. They just took a picture of the launch codes. Yeah. That's secure.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And also there's literally footage of them going, football coming through, as they transport the military football, the nuclear launch codes, because they didn't do that until 1201, because that's when the transition happens. So until 1201, Trump could launch a nuke. After that, Biden can. Now, thankfully, Trump didn't, and I don't think Biden will. But the point is, that obviously they would have some of that kind of thing in Florida, because he was still president then.
Yep.
Until the 1201. Anyway. Why is the Pentagon blocking access for members of Biden's administration? Because Trump's a prick.
Well, yeah. I don't know when this came out, but yeah.
Yeah, because Trump was trying to play fuckery with the Biden handover of power. But that's not happening anymore, because literally they've just... was it the Secretary of Defense has been confirmed?
I think so. Someone was. Yeah, I think it might have been Defense. You're right. There's been a lot that's been happening.
The black dude, I don't know his name. Apologies.
That's right, because they had to get an exemption for him.
Yeah.
Because there's sort of like a 5 or 7 year gap, and they had to give him a waiver in order to take the position.
Yeah.
Yes, it's coming back to me now.
Indeed. Anyway, oh, for fuck's sake. These sad bastards. My new hub... This is from, again, the Patriot... It was technically still the Donald then, but Patriots.win. My new hobby. Every time I get the opportunity, I will write Trump 1 on a magazine at a doctor's office, the checkout at the grocery store, on a tree in my neighbourhood, on a dirty car.
You're going to vandalize a tree in your neighborhood and scratch up someone's paint. So that's damage to property. You're admitting to committing your new hobby is criming.
Yeah, yeah. Petty criming for Trump.
Yes, for Trump.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, look at that cat.
Oh, pretty good.
Look at the little nose. Anyway.
Boop.
Oh, this is, fuck's sake, the cope. Joe Biden has a strange obsession with children. Joe Biden will drive the economy into a crippling depression. A devil with a heart over it. There are only two genders. And then this one's quite nice. An acrostic poem. Biggest idiot Democrat ever nominated. Well, someone at this college is a douche.
Yeah, all I have to say is I would almost be impressed with that poem if I thought that they came up with it themselves. But I'm pretty sure they saw it on a board somewhere.
Yeah, that was on one of the chans or something.
So, yeah. I'm going to have my feels all over the chalkboard. Or actually the whiteboard, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, this is quite nice. Nice little conspiracy theory.
Something a lot of people aren't talking about. The inauguration actually happened at 11:50 a.m. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's simple. We can't have two presidents at the same time. So what does that mean for Biden? Well, I want you to go back and look at the video. And I want you to point out all the fencing that's surrounding the Capitol or the lack thereof. Now I want you to think to yourself, I wonder when they recorded this. It's all in front of you guys. Just go look. Like, follow, and comment. And if you want to get into a great...
Wait, hold on. Pause. What, like they snuck in the Obamas and all the crowds and they did a pre-recorded... What is the conspiracy here? I don't know if I understand.
Also, it doesn't matter when he could have signed it, could have sworn in 6 hours prior. It literally doesn't matter. It's ceremonial. In fact, he doesn't necessarily even really have to swear in the official way that they do. That's for, like, show. It's pomp. The point is, he has to sign the fucking documents when they get back inside, and at 12:01 he becomes president.
Yeah, it's like when you do a wedding.
Yeah.
You go and you do the ceremony, but it's not legal until you sign the marriage certificate.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a show of good intent that you put your hand on the Bible and swear and all, but that doesn't mean anything. Mainly because there isn't a God. That's pointless. But even if there were, the legal document is what matters.
It is entirely a symbolic act because everyone has to buy into the social construct of the democratic legitimacy of that leader.
Yeah.
Or you have insurrection or civil war.
Yeah. You know how they're really against identity politics?
Oh yeah, people are always identity politics, but not them. They reject identity politics.
Indeed.
Doesn't define them.
All right, check it out. No hate, just facts. So the first day in office, the first person Joe Biden fired was a black man.
Carl tried this too on his show. We watched that bit, right?
Yeah. He did a terrible job as Surgeon General, so he was fired. Good.
Yep. He's still taking out the fast trash.
Yeah.
More people getting fired.
Yeah. Oh, this woman crying. Oh, God. I can't watch that again, but she starts crying, going on about the evil. The baby killers are coming back. You're damn right, bitch. We are. More nonsense. Dinesh D'Souza, how do we cancel culture? Thus doing something that I need to get my cock out for.
Logan's amazing conservatives of cancel culture. Cocks and penis.
That's right, you're doing cancel culture, Dinesh. If you're cancelling something because you don't agree with its politics, you're doing cancel culture. That's why it's a sort of self-defeating point, like virtue signalling.
Hey, Dinesh, why don't you go ask the Arizona Republican Party their opinion on cancel culture?
Yeah.
They just canceled like 3 people last weekend.
And their opinion on brown people. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for fuck's sake, yeah. What if...
Carly B.
Doctor
no,
Carly B.
No fly list.
No
Doctor No Fly List, Carly B.
Yeah. Old fucking Greyhound Borisenko over here. What if Trump ran for Congress... What if Trump ran for Congress in Florida in 2 years and there was a red wave in the House and then he was elected Speaker?
Like he would ever run for Congress. His
fuck's
ego is too
Yeah.
big. Oh my God. Again, coping.
Yeah.
So much cope.
Not just that, but the speaker knows all the ins and outs of like the rules and stuff. Donald Trump doesn't even know what Congress people are.
Right.
The idea that he could ever do that position and actually turn up day after day and do like
no way
hours of not just that, hours of sitting there listening to boring pricks talk boringly about boring shit.
Yes, a lot.
You have to have the patience of a
meetings.
fucking saint to do speakership shit on a bicameral fucking legislature, whatever.
Yeah, basically it's like, keeping plates going when they're on the ends of sticks or whatever. Like what bill is over here and how many votes do we have and what should be on the agenda.
Yeah. Oh, my one was, even though she's on the no-fly list, she's clearly high as fuck.
Nice.
Hang on. Rory Katz is around. 1 second.
Hey, Rory Katz. We're going to get Kit Cam going on here. Maybe get some beans if we're lucky.
There he is, the boy.
Oh, and the beans.
Yeah, Rory, can't you the fluffy belly? Yeah.
It's very mellow. Very chilled out right now. Have to ask if Rory Katz just ate. Looks like he's pretty contented. So yeah, wait for Kev to put his earbuds back in. Riveting television. Yeah, so has Rory just eaten? He seems pretty chilled out and mellow.
No, his food is just out beyond the door, so I think he's about to eat. Yes.
Okay.
Another police officer arrested for making threats against the U.S. Congress. Sounds good.
Yep. There needs to be a way to put them on a national database so no other department is allowed to hire them.
Yeah, indeed. Cat.
I wouldn't let them be security cops or security for a mall, these guys.
If you look closely, you might just be able to notice a cat.
Oh, I see the eyes. Otherwise, it's like camouflage.
I know. Yeah. I had to look. It took me ages, but I found it in the end.
Like Waldo.
Yeah. Do you want to watch owls?
Yeah.
Go on, lad. You got it. There we go.
How many are in the bucket?
Well, I was really confused because it's 40 seconds long. But if you play it on the mobile app, which is how I first watched this, I was watching for about 3 fucking minutes because it just goes round and round. And you can't.
You didn't realize.
I didn't realise, and I was like, "How many fucking owls are in this? It's like a bottomless owl bucket."
Anyway,
there we go. See, it just goes round and round.
It is. Oh, I have to tell you a story.
Go for it.
Kristi's in chat. I don't know if she's still here, but last night it was Saturday night. We were playing D&D, and we met up with somebody, and he was happy with what we did for him or whatever, and so he gave us the gift of the mittens of redistribution. And guess whose mittens they look like?
Bernard Hussein Sanderinos.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, now we have a set of mittens of redistribution.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's
the
awesome.
The meme has entered the game.
The meme has entered our hearts, Kristi.
And by the way, if anyone is thinking about using them, I'm going to use a term that Kevin would know, but they are very OP. So she's going to have to pull them back a little. They're very overpowered. Like the benefits you get from redistribution, it's a little too much for the dungeon master sometimes. So maybe you nerf it a bit. Y'all.
Yeah.
I'm using my D&D discourse. Sorry.
Anyway, moving on from that fucking degeneracy. Incels know nothing about women. Period. True.
Yes. Period. But I see the play on the word period.
Yeah. Do you want to which one do you want to be?
I'll be the virgin.
Go on then.
Oh no, you have to be Flavius.
Oh, okay. Virgins do not menstruate.
I'm a virgin, and I'm definitely a menstruator.
You are lying about one of those.
You are seriously telling a woman that she doesn't know she's a virgin, or she's menstruating, and you seriously believe women can't be/do both of those things at the same time? That was the most ridiculous attempt at mansplaining I've seen in a while.
Yeah. An unsullied virgin has not been defiled, and she cannot pollute the world with impure blood.
What the actual fuck?
I don't think this person is a trained gynecologist. I'll be honest.
No.
I think
none
they're
at
just
all.
a weird religious twat, it seems.
Or Poe, but yeah,
Could
I'd also
be.
go with religious twat.
Yeah. This is quite nice. In 1519, an Italian judge condemned a group of moles to exile for damaging crops. They ignored the ruling.
This is why you can't get anything done in Italy. You take up the time to do this kind of stuff.
Moles. I like the fact that the moles were like, "Fuck you, judge. I don't care."
Yeah, you're not the boss of me. I didn't vote for you.
Yeah. Oh God, the pro-Trump lawsuit that's quoting from Lord of the Rings.
What? Sorry. What?
Gondor has no king. Now,
What?
It's been a long time since I read Lord of the Rings, so I don't even know the reference particularly. But Donald Trump's
Oh, because I can tell you the reference.
Go on then.
Gondor had kings, but then like the king left, and then, I don't know all of it. But they basically put like a protector in, and then the protector over generations became the ruler, and that is the ruling house. So Gondor has no kings because they have someone else in power.
Okay. Donald Trump's diehard supporters are often accused of living in Fantasyland, but one court case recently launched to try and reinstall him as president has surprised even the most hardened observers of Trumpian strangeness by citing as evidence a mythological realm from Lord of the Rings. The case was launched in Texas in the name of a small conservative groups including Latinos for Trump and Blacks for Trump, and was filed by Paul Davis, an attorney who lost his job after posting Instagram videos of himself at the attack on the Capitol.
One of those, okay.
Yeah, the case offers a baseless mix of allegations of electoral fraud common among Trump base and calls for voiding of every vote cast in the election.
Well, that's very pro-democracy.
160 million votes, just poof. Which was won handily by now President Joe Biden. Yeah, but unusually for a legal strategy.
Is this the Independent, The Guardian? This
The
is
Guardian,
British.
yeah.
Yeah. What would you say? Like understatement.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not just unusual; it is bizarre beyond words.
But unusually for a legal strategy, the case cites as evidence to back up its pro-Trump claims the tragic fate of the Kingdom of Gondor, one of the central realms of J.R.R. Tolkien's fantasy classic, whose exiled ruler, Aragorn, was played on screen by Viggo Mortensen.
Hottie.
Gondor has no king. The lawsuit states. Oh
Yes,
my God.
yeah. Oh, while you're looking that up, by the way, I see that in the last 3 days or so, Leonard French put up an analysis of that same guy we looked at who was complaining about Twitter. Right. Although he skipped the part in the brief where the guy said that AOC wouldn't date him because he was Mexican.
Yeah.
Here
we go.
But he did a much more legally thorough examination, but we came to the same conclusion as him.
So this is, a request for temporary restraining order to preserve the status quo ante by placing Congress and the executive branch in a state of stewardship. So basically dissolving the Congress, okay. 2, Gondor has no king. To invoke a very appropriate... This is a fucking legal document that someone submitted to a court.
Okay, you have to read the footnote.
Yeah.
You have to read the footnote.
Okay, we're going to get there, right?
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Gondor has no king. To invoke a very appropriate quote from the J.R.R. Tolkien epic classic Lord of the Rings. By the way, he wrote much of that story not far from me at Sarhall Mill. Literally just down the road from me. But right by the college I used to go to when I was in sixth form. And I used to smoke a lot of weed and was walking down the street and loads of elves started walking towards me. I nearly shit myself. Because they have like a Lord of the Rings weekend. Because it's like a listed building, like a grade 2 listed building or something, and so they have a Lord of the Rings festival, and people dressed up as fucking elves and orcs and shit started walking down the road, and I was genuinely freaked out. It was very strange. Anyway,
No, deliciously, this sentence has a footnote.
Yeah.
Footnote 2.
Yeah, the judicial branch is currently only blah blah. So there you go.
No, you have to read the footnote right after the sentence.
Oh, so 2. Yeah, so Lord of the Rings 2. During the course of the epic trilogy, the rightful king of Gondor has abandoned the throne. This is a legal document. What the fuck? Since only the rightful king could sit... This person's such a dweeb as well. Jesus. Since only the rightful king could sit on the throne of Gondor, a steward was appointed to manage Gondor until the return of the king, known as quote-unquote Aragorn, occurred at the end of the story. The analogy is applicable since here there is no Now in Washington, D.C., a group of individuals calling themselves the President, Vice President, and Congress, who have no rightful claim to govern the American people. Accordingly, as set forth in the proposed temporary restraining order, as a remedy to the court should appoint a group of special masters, the quote-unquote stewards, to provide a check to the power of the illegitimate president until the constitutional crisis can be resolved through a peaceful legal process of preliminary injunction hearings and a jury trial on the merits.
I really, really hope that this is pro se, because no one should pay an attorney an hourly wage to write this footnote.
Well, what attorney would take this case? Because there are attorneys looking for a paycheck, but this is going to ruin your career. You cited fucking Lord of the Rings.
Do they have the first page? Who does it say? On the very top of
Latinos for Trump.
Yeah, I mean they're groups. So I mean versus Pete Session,
Mitch McConnell, Mark Zuckerberg, Chuck Schumer, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Raffensperger, all members of the 117th U.S. Congress.
Maybe could you go down to the very end? Maybe they put their name and title at the bottom. See who wrote this nonsense.
Attorneys.
Oh my God.
Kelly Sorelli, law officer, Texas bar, admitted pro Hackche. So they're not from the same state. Okay. Paul M. Davis.
Paid for this.
Oh, so Paul Davis himself is a lawyer. Okay, in the Western District of Texas.
Now, solo civil rights attorney? Yeah, I bet you are.
Yeah.
Terminated after peacefully protesting? No, he did this himself. Okay.
Okay.
He wasted his own time.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, so Gondor has no king. That's a thing that exists. Jesus Christ.
What is that line from Firefly? Well, my days of not taking you seriously are certainly coming to a middle.
Yeah. This is quite a nice one. Not really political, but I still found it on Clapper and it made me laugh.
Okay.
What's a really weird thing that your body does that you're not sure anybody else's body does?
I don't know if this is really weird. I feel like it probably happens to a lot of people, but when I have to fart, most of the time, it ends up as a shit. And so when I feel like I have to fart, I hold it for as long as I can because I'm afraid I'm going to shit myself. And eventually, I can't hold it anymore. And I fart. And every once in a while, it's actually a fart and it's no big deal. But most of the time, I end up shitting myself. So I don't know if this is normal.
That's definitely not normal.
Just something I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, firstly, please seek medical assistance for that problem.
Yes.
And secondly, what are this motherfucker's dry cleaning bills like? Every time you fart, you need to change your underwear. And clean shit off yourself.
And your trousers.
Yeah. Oh, that's gross. Well, maybe he wears a diaper. That would make sense.
Maybe he just shakes it out of his pant leg.
Yeah, exactly. Just walks away.
So Kevin, what's a weird thing your body does, or you can do with your body?
I can get an innie erection.
What does that mean? You can pop your belly button out?
No, I meant like my penis gets hard inside. It's a joke. Never mind. No, there's nothing really. I'm just a bit fat.
I think that my legs are pretty flexible, and so I can turn my feet outward, not only to let's say if I'm at 12 o'clock facing forward, I can turn my feet in one each direction at 9 and 3. I can kind of get it to 8 and 4.
Yeah. Who's surprised that Kristi's good at spreading her lower limbs? Really?
I wish my sex life was exciting as you just
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is quite nice. When someone says healthcare isn't a right, the memes have collided, Kristi.
Is this supposed to be Ned Flanders?
No, that's do you know the Arthur meme with the clenched fist of anger?
The cartoon Arthur?
Yeah. Do you not remember that meme?
I was probably like in college when Arthur was.
No,
going.
well, the
So-
meme was relative. Well, so new,
Okay.
like 6 months old or something. Anyway,
Okay,
they just put
all
a
right.
mitten over it, so it's Bernie Sanders. Anyway, it's two
Yeah.
memes together as one. But I knew that the meme was over when this happened.
Oh God. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep, gone too far.
Yeah.
It burned out,
done.
you know, like a yes. It's like a meteor. It was bright and burned. It burned brightly, but not for long.
That's burned with an E. Anyway. Oh, Angie speaks. Oh,
This is just what?
it's quite something.
Yeah.
Let's resize that for everybody.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to use your eyes a lot just trying to get what this is
Yeah.
supposed to be.
This is prime word salad. And just you can tell the coffin-esque influence.
Yeah.
Quote.
Definitely.
The marketized, with a Z, even though this person is British, tut tut. The marketized sexuality of the neoliberal paradigm is nothing but onanism and an endless implosion into the narcissistic image of the self. The sexualized other is merely an object of internal archetypal projections and not a complete or nuanced being. Have you ever seen a more huffy sentence ever?
I mean, an endless implosion into the narcissistic image of the self. That's prime wank. That is just chef's kiss, meaningless wank.
Well, I quite like marketized sexuality of the neoliberal paradigm.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, if you didn't know the politics of this person, like if I just gave you that quote, you could genuinely say, is that Jordan Peterson saying this? Well, that's some Jordan Peterson bullshit
Yes.
right there.
No, I see that. Yes. And also, the sexualized other is merely an object of internal archetypal projections and not a complete or nuanced being. Like, duh. But you don't need marketized sexuality for that to happen, because people like look at other people and then they like, ooh, that person's hot.
Yeah.
That's not marketization of anything.
It's got.
I mean, it can be marketized, but it's not the link there.
But it's got big kind of dragon of chaos energy. Let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor form. Very poor form.
Yeah.
Anyway. Also onanism. Fuck off. Anyway.
Yeah.
A dog. It sees a challenge, but it gets past it.
Okay. You can do it. Yeah, look at him. Look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at all the practice bounces first.
Lovely stuff.
That's adorable.
Oh, this is so horrible. Candace Owens gave birth, and congratulations to her on her healthy child. That's awesome. Although I feel sorry for the fucking kid, but that's regardless, right? This is the kind of fan, quote unquote, that she has brought to her side. Because obviously this is a mixed race baby. The father is a white man, I believe. So Lucy here, a fan of Candace Owens, says, there are very few examples of mulatto children being beautiful.
Do people use that word outside of the 19th century anymore?
No. And usually when they are, it's because their European features enhance their appearance. But in most cases, the African genes dominate and they end up looking dysgenic.
Oh, so the stronger African genes are beating the white genes' ass? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That the white genes are weak?
Fucking weak-ass pussy white genes. Jesus.
Racists suck.
It's just, these people are garbage. But this is the fan base she's cultivated.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This is what you get.
They don't respect her. They like what she has to say because it legitimizes their bad opinions and their racism.
Yeah. Look, if Hitler had wanted to just attack mulattoes in his own country, that would have been fine. But he had to do it elsewhere, didn't he?
By the way, you're a good person to ask this question, because I was wondering if I looked for videos, I couldn't really find anything on an analysis of people of color who join supremacist groups or who work with them. And not like sort of like groups that are also supremacists, that like we have the same ideas on this, but we don't like you, but like, people who are multiracial, or like Ali, Anderson. whatever his name was.
Ali Alexander.
Like, Alexander. Yes.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I've seen. I don't know if it's necessarily a study, but there are a couple of videos on black people who had like joined the alt-right that I've seen, but I don't know if they're necessarily still around because they're quite racist stuff in there, and so maybe YouTube will have taken them down. I'll look around for you.
Yeah, like
Get
I
back to you.
understand Hispanic white participation because of Spain is a European country, and so maybe some liberal racists might look beyond that. But I would be more interested in like, what do they talk about? How do they frame things? Do they basically echo right-wing white supremacist talking points, or do they kind of put a spin on it?
Yeah. Well, they're often they focus less on. It seems to me the hatred of the group they're from, and externalize it to say like if it's a black person who joins the alt-right, it'll be like, oh fuck the Jews, but black people are okay.
Yeah.
Black people are fine though. You don't be horrible to us. But the Jews and the women need to be stopped.
I think that would be an interesting qualitative analysis, a comparison of discourses, language and themes of people, white supremacists, and then people who join, who like, why are you there, kind of thing. But I just wanted to know if you knew. So.
Yeah, well, I'll there are one or two, and I'll look for them again and get back to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Here's the lots of fair play to the people in Russia because they're taking a risk, but massive anti-Putin protests in Russia.
Yes, solidarity.
Indeed, massive solidarity. Big ups to the people of Russia, but also the police getting pelted with snowballs. Yeah, people are they're not holding back.
And that is harmless and very funny to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, to them? I mean, obviously the police aren't being harmless at all.
Oh, yeah.
But in this situation, they're so geared up. But that was.
But it's just a show of disrespect, which I like.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, it's well, it's not quite the guy who hurled the egg at Prescott.
Oh yeah, I got punched on the chin for it.
Yeah.
Oh, we can skip over this. This is a religious idiot going on about Trump still being president or going to be president or some nonsense.
Oh, because now they say he's going to be president on March 4th.
On March 4th.
Because they don't know that the Constitution was changed to up the date of the transfer of power.
Indeed. Oh yeah, this prick from Texas was going about assassinating AOC. He's been arrested. Good.
I think I actually might have tagged Lotus floatereaters.com, their Twitter account, and say not a boomer protest or something about peaceful protesters.
Yeah.
Giving them a bit of crap because I like to troll them occasionally.
Indeed. The Capitol Hill rioter, the shaman, the Q shaman, is now claiming he was duped by Trump.
I'm a victim.
Yeah.
Oh, people who hate victim narratives.
Indeed.
Suddenly becoming victims.
Janet Jackson tweeted this out.
I remember this. It was a Rolling Stone cover. It was very controversial at the time. And she looks amazing.
Yeah.
Here's a very sexy picture.
But with Bernie Sanders.
My God, if I had that body, I would take that picture. But without Bernie Sanders. Those gloves are probably itchy. Or mittens.
Yeah. What's the coolest an athlete has ever looked in a photo? And that's quite nice. That's John Daly with his wife. And then this...
You know what this reminds me of is someone was walking home in London and they were crossing a bridge just as a nude cyclethon or some protester was going on, and they got caught up. Do you remember this? I think we might have covered
I think so, yeah, vaguely.
And there was just like this one guy looking confused in a sea of like naked bums on, bicycle seats.
Yeah, it's rare you're in a situation where you're fully clothed and you look out of place.
Yes.
But there we go. This was quite nice. Find Bernie.
Have you?
Yeah.
I can't be bothered.
Yeah, it's there.
Oh, he's really hidden.
Yeah.
That's sneaky.
Is that on to show up on the screen?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, hang on. There he is. There. Anyway. So, yeah, that was the thing. Oh, fuck's sake, yeah. The Brexit thing has gotten so bad now, the Department of International Trade, the British governmental department, is now advising British businesses to set up their operations in the EU to avoid post-Brexit paperwork.
Oh, God. Yeah, the other thing I saw is that MasterCharge is going to increase its fees for purchases from the UK made in the EU.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we're a fucking pariah. A freak. A little freak. We're on the outskirts of Europe now, looking like the little freak kid that no one wants to sit next to at lunch.
I mean, I don't understand. I mean, maybe I do because like Tory voters in the UK are not like Trump voters. They just aren't.
No.
They're but how much does this government have to fuck up before they stop supporting it? Like, I don't understand. Obviously, this has been a complete and fucking disaster, and they've been lied to. I don't understand how like Boris Johnson can still command as much of the vote intention as he does.
Yeah, it's incredibly depressing. Like I said, that quote from earlier about it being a nation of easily swayed dullards, it works. That's how I feel.
This is why I can't believe in the hope of socialism. It's because of people like who vote for Trump and vote for
Exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah,
and UKIP.
We're so far from it that I want it to be real, but it doesn't seem plausible.
But you have to get those people on board.
Oh no.
You know.
For fuck's sake. Yeah.
You know, it's not like they're going to come along easily.
The only thing I want to get them
every step of the way.
The only thing I want to get them on board is a ship, and they can sail anywhere else in the world. I don't care. Just leave. This is quite nice. Yeah, it's from someone who knew Kevin Sorbo. # not all Kevins. Fun fact: I first learned about QAnon from Kevin Sorbo in the lunchroom at Comic-Con. I'm not doing a bit. That happened.
Wow. Thanks for sharing. I mean, that's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's it. He's a weirdo. Anyway, the Texas GOP are literally just QAnon people now.
Oh, God.
We Are the Storm, for those who don't know, is a QAnon meme.
Yeah, I had a whole discussion on my Sunday show about whether or not Trump's play for the Patriot Party is just his way of getting leverage over Republicans in the short term by threatening them, or if it could be turn out to be a serious thing and what that would mean. And there is a scary amount of grassroots support for this kind of shit.
Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, it is our problem for Democrats and independents and non-political people. But it's a problem that really only Republicans can kind of solve.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're fucking not addressing this at all.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah. They've not begun to... Although this is, by the way, this isn't even the worst endorsement from a state GOP that's in my bookmarks. We'll get to it. Anyway, this is Hassan Piker says, Madison Cawthorn claims to be pro-life, and yet here he is getting aborted on live TV. Curious.
Yeah, I've got Chris Evans... saying about how she snatched his wig right off.
Yeah.
Official in that town who actually went against the will of the state legislature and created ballot drop boxes, which is basically ballot harvesting that was happening in the parks.
But this was all litigated. You know that the Trump campaign litigated all of this, more than 60 cases, and they lost. Either the cases were dismissed, the Trump campaign withdrew, or they never brought a case because they didn't have the evidence to back it up.
Indeed, I believe specifically, and this is the one that I debated on behalf of on the House floor, in Wisconsin, that was never heard because they dismissed it because of standing. Now, I don't believe that is concrete enough of a way to say
Well, there were 3 Trump appointments. Okay, so you have Wisconsin, but you ended up not actually voting against Wisconsin. It was just Arizona and Pennsylvania didn't have the Senate votes. But 3 Trump-appointed judges actually threw out these cases because of merit. It was because of merit. There were 3 Trump-appointed judges out of all of these judges and the more than 60 cases that were tossed out. And you keep talking about Wisconsin. I'm still not hearing any specific examples of fraud. If you would, just tell us, what are the specific examples you saw of fraud? Because
by the way, in terms of losses with Wisconsin, the Packers lost yesterday, of course.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but don't.
He's like your Germany to the Packers.
Yeah. But
a lot of teams, I think.
but don't worry. There's a court case to overturn it, so it'll be fine. Fraud.
Yeah, on this. So yeah, they don't have standing to bring the case. That it means that you weren't directly harmed. They're not going to allow you to take up the court's time with things that don't directly affect you. So that means you didn't have a case. Is the idea that, oh, we were dismissed on standing not because of the merits. No, it's like you didn't even have a chance to discuss the merits because you didn't belong there in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yes, not a defense of, they weren't denied their day in court. They had no right to have a day in court.
Indeed.
When you think of fraud, you think of a vote, you're slipping one past the election official, or a vote was stolen, somehow it didn't count. Did you see that specifically?
No, Pam, and like I said, that's
So
not
you
the
didn't-
reason I
okay.
contested the election.
Hold on. So you wanted to throw out millions of votes without actually seeing any concrete evidence of fraud? Because that's what you were doing when you were contesting the election. The intent there was throwing out millions of votes.
Oh, she's so
Well,
good.
I disagree with you on that point. That was not my intent. My intent was to hold up the Constitution, and setting up ballot drop boxes, which is essentially ballot harvesting in Wisconsin, is unconstitutional because the state legislature said they didn't want that.
So you
But then
knew
you
more
didn't
than the
vote.
judge, the Trump-appointed judge, who said that, who actually looked at that case before the election and dismissed the Trump campaign's argument that drop boxes are unconstitutional. And if you would you point to me and where in the Constitution it says that drop boxes are unconstitutional? I don't recall seeing that in the Constitution.
Yeah, it's no, that's the way it goes, right? It's free
Yeah.
speech is number one, and then gun rights, and then 3 is drop boxes.
Yes.
That's the way
Yeah,
it
I'm pretty
works.
sure that's
Yeah.
how the amendments go. Yeah.
I played the third.
I'm actually trying to remember what the Third Amendment is. I think the fourth has to do with the quartering of soldiers. Fifth is about probable
You shouldn't
cause.
quarter them. Good lord.
Can you look up Third Amendment? I don't remember what the Third Amendment
Them
is.
into 4 different pieces. Third amend. Oh, hang on, mint. Yeah. That'll do. Right.
Oh, third is the quartering of soldiers.
No shall
Okay,
be.
I thought it was the
Peacetime
fourth.
should be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner. That's a really weird one. So what's 4 then?
Oh, well, do you know why we had that?
No, go on.
Because their British soldiers would take over people's houses, and you'd have to put them up and give them a room and feed them, and that's how they kind of quartered their occupying force, was by dispersing the soldiers out to live in people's houses, and the people had to put them up.
And rightly so, yeah. You are our servants, you weird foreign people, yeah.
And this was such a
righteous.
violation of private, rights and not privacy. They didn't have that concept in the Constitution explicitly, but it's implied here through it that So they said it's never been used. I don't think there's any case law on the Third Amendment.
Yeah. So fourth is protects people from unreasonable searches and seizures. Yeah.
Okay.
Okie doke. This was quite nice.
And fifth is probable cause and the right to self-incrimination.
Indeed. And the 12th is Gritty's fucking awesome. All hail Gritty. They had the foresight to foresee the National Hockey League, which is impressive.
And the thing was there's only 10, but that's just the Bill of Rights. There are more after the Bill of Rights.
There are lots more, yes. The former Estonian president compared Donald Trump Jr. to an exceptionally small-brained fish.
I mean, I see that.
Yeah.
I see that.
Former president of Estonia has compared him to an exceptionally small-brained fish in response to a wild attempt to talk up his father on Twitter. Following his father's departure, Mr. Trump Jr. took to Twitter on Friday in an attempt to shore up his presidential legacy. Donald Trump is the first president in modern history, did not start a new war, he tweeted. However, others seemed...
sick.
Yeah, I know.
Just enjoying that.
From around the world were not convinced by the argument. As former Estonian President Toomas Hendrik lives? What the fuck? Hit back at
must be, yeah.
Mr. Trump with a sarcastic jibe. To be fair, that feeling when you have the memory, knowledge and grammar of a pike, the exceptionally small-brained fish, which I don't know if there's lost in translation, but that seems like a very Estonian burn. I don't know.
Now read his response,
Yeah.
because you get to do it again.
Yeah. Not the iron spear Bannon suggested, sick. Dr. Fauci's head be placed on at the corner of the Trump White House, yeah. So that's the former president of Estonia. Donking on Donald Trump Jr., which is nice.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I always like, the sick there, because it's like, that was their fuck up, not mine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're pointing it out. Like, yeah, I see it too.
Yeah. That's how it started and how it's going. Oh. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Remember during the general election, broadband communism?
Right.
The plan, Jeremy Corbyn's plan to have like free internet for everyone, like it's a service. The Daily Mail, who called it communism, are now backing a campaign to help kids get free access to internet and the computer.
Gee.
A year can change so much, can't it?
Yes, life comes at you pretty fast.
Look how fucking boss that cat is.
It's a gangster.
Absolute legend. Oh yeah, this again, the conspiracy theory that he'd been replaced with a clone because it was signing things with his left hand.
But look at the pictures in the back.
The image was reversed. Yeah.
Yeah, like literally, like the phone moves.
Yeah.
Everything's
wrong.
The flags move. Why would you?
Yeah, ridiculous. Anyway, so here's a bird absolutely fucking with a cat.
That's what the cat used to do with my dog.
Yeah.
She would fuck, like, that's what Bella would be on the other side of the window.
That's as a bird, you're putting a lot of trust in the skill of the glazer that put that window in. Anyway.
That is, I want to watch that again.
Oh, you want to watch it again? Okay.
That. Oh, he's even peeping at him.
That cat is gonna. Look at the tail on it. It wants to
Yes.
fuck that bird up so bad.
It's so fluffy.
Yeah, we finally reached peak Brexit. They're now blaming Germany.
Yeah, you fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's Germany's fault.
Angela Merkel is more responsible for Brexit than any other political figure in Europe on either side of the channel. Oh, eat my fucking arsehole. Jesus.
Yeah. What, you think Nigel Farage isn't maybe a little bit more responsible for Brexit, considering he campaigned on it for like a decade?
Yeah,
How
ridiculous. Long? Yeah, well, longer than that,
You
really.
can't-
Yeah. Yeah, ridiculous. Spacing people. Just, yeah, okay. That doesn't seem hygienic, but okay. Anyway, oh God, again, just offensive. Every single day. Being white now is as bad as being black in the 60s was.
No.
Just
no.
Unbelievably no.
The sort of whining.
Yeah.
Oh, the whining.
Some people take memes too far.
Way too far.
That's going. Look, he will be dead soon, and that will still be on your skin, and you'll have to explain who this was, what the relevance of it was. It's just weird. It's very weird. Oh, this is again another conspiracy one. This is good.
Third letter in the alphabet.
So they then add up the numbers.
If you're listening, those are the letters of the alphabet and what order they are in. Equals 666.
But it gets even better. They pull Joe Biden into it.
Divide that by 2020.
Oh gosh.
And guess what it equals?
30330.
Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, that's a weird one. Oh, yeah. Creepiest thing in the world. House Republican introduces anti-trans legislation that could lead to genital exams for schoolgirls.
What the actual fuck? QAnon, go after this kind of shit.
Yeah. That's not a fucking pedo charter to just
What the fuck?
check out the junk of... I can't think of anything more creepy.
I mean, that would have to. I mean, I think that's prima facie a violation of your constitutional rights.
But just the fact that they would even put that up there,
Yeah.
that's disgusting. You fucking sick bastards. Like, they can't even do, like, not weird transphobia. It has to be weird as well.
Yes.
Not that I'm saying it would be okay if they didn't. I'm just, they're creepy bastards in general. It's Gordon Brown, former Prime Minister, says UK could become a failed state without reform. I like his optimism that we aren't already. That's
the optimism you see there.
positive thinking, Gordon. Thanks. Hawaii GOP. Right? The official.
Oh, they didn't.
Giving a shout out to Holocaust denier Sticks Hex and Hammer 666.
How is that not like actually a national story?
Yeah, I don't know, but some of them are just leaning into the fascism.
Yeah, I think like members of the media should be tagged into a retweet of that saying, why is the GOP retweeting a Holocaust denier?
Indeed. I mean, at least they're getting ratioed to fuck, but still.
Yeah.
They deserve to.
Oh, Ted Cruz is getting ratioed to fuck. Who else? Like Newt Gingrich today was getting ratioed to fuck. And Marco Rubio on the reg. It's just Twitter without a whole bunch of QAnon and bots. I think Putin's pretty much given up on his bot investment now. Suddenly, people don't like him as much as they thought they did.
Yeah, exactly. When you haven't got 1,000,001 either weird little QAnon fascists or bots upvoting your things, all of a sudden, just like with the if you allow black voters to vote, all of a sudden, the political landscape doesn't quite look so in their favour.
Yes.
This is so the Jimmy Dore thing, and then they did the meme, Jimmy Dore fascism. Is this the left? Yeah. I don't know if this is necessarily true, but I like it. Members are quitting Mar-a-Lago because it's become a sad and dispirited place since Trump moved in.
That's Business Insider.
Yeah.
That's not like sort of like gossip mag or anything.
Yeah.
It's a business magazine or a newspaper.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That is good. I don't know if the audio comes across on this one, but it's a cat doing the cackle thing. That's just cute.
We used to call it chirping.
Yeah.
Like when our cats would chirp.
I have more respect for liberals that are anti-fascist than leftists that try to unite with fascists. Correct.
Thanks.
Yep. Any day of the week. Oh, Sarah.
I mean, I don't consider myself, I don't know if you would say liberal in that I don't want to overthrow capitalism. Yes, but I tend to identify more as a progressive.
Yeah.
I tend to associate liberalism with economics.
Well, exactly, yeah. Like whether you necessarily identify that way, I always think of you as more of a kind of soc-dem type person.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it doesn't mean that I am pro all of the shit capitalism does. I just want to heavily regulate it and heavily tax it.
Yeah. Like I say, I'm not sure socialism can be achieved, so let's do that instead. That's at least vaguely livable. Anyway, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is going to be running for the Arkansas governorship.
And she's going to use her political and family pull, and might even get it.
Yeah,
she's got a chance.
Arkansas.
And she's still a Trump tool, so.
Yeah, Arkansas. Please, you don't want to be seen as that. You can genuinely. I don't think you can achieve many things, but you can definitely do that. Anyway. This is quite nice. My mom said that her dog looks like Rami Malek, and I can't unsee it. And it does.
The one with the little fake trophy.
Yeah. That's legendary.
I'm dead.
Oh yeah, the New York Times. Look, don't go scandal hunting. This is ridiculous. Right, is that Rolex on Biden's watch? Oh, he's got a Rolex on. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it turns out it was his dead son Beau Biden's watch, and he was wearing it to honor his son.
Yes, And I know people are saying, oh, it's by the style department, all that kind of stuff, watches owned by presidents. And that's not how they framed it. And also, they could have just written a story about this.
Yeah.
About the watch that his son wears, and it happens to be a Rolex, as opposed to that more clickbaity title.
Or just write about something worthwhile, because the watch that a man wears is fucking irrelevant.
Yeah, someone said, hey, why don't you do a story on the fact that because he's got a Peloton, he won't be spending $144 million on golf trips every year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or maybe it was 1,000, I don't know. But it was a lot of fucking money. I'm sure it was more, closer to millions than thousands.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about cats when they get... Look at that. Look at the difference. Oh, my God.
I don't think that's the same cat.
That
the
is.
Eyes are different.
No, it's the same
look at
cat.
the eyes.
How are the eyes
completely
different?
different?
No, they're not.
The one on the left is much bigger. I mean, I guess it could be closer, but I don't think that's the same cat.
That's the same cat. How are the eyes different? They're both blue.
Right, but the ones on look much bigger and much more almond. And the ones on the other one, I mean, the eye shape wouldn't change because the hair was wet.
I think that's the same
I'm
cat.
wrong.
I think that's the same cat.
Okay.
I've decided. Anyway. Oh, yeah, this is the thing, right. So the executive order signed by Joe Biden says, quote, "It is the policy of the United States to encourage union organising and collective bargaining," unquote. Now, and I just tweeted out, tell me both sides are the same, I fucking dare you. Because this speaks to me, this one. As a trade unionist, I feel enormous amounts of sympathy and solidarity for American trade unionists, who it's one of the most hostile places to be a trade unionist in the Western world. It's an appalling disgrace, some of the laws that exist there.
I mean, when you go to business school, they teach you union busting.
Yeah, it's disgusting behaviour. I mean, just appalling on every level. So to have a president in there that will say things like that or to literally write into an executive order, that sort of thing is an amazing step forward in the right direction. So, yeah, like I say, he wins a lot of goodwill from me for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh my! What's Dave Pacman got to say?
David Pacman, Rudy should hold a press conference outside Dominion fertility clinics to argue that a lawsuit by Dominion voting systems against him is bogus. True.
Well, yes, because do you have it with the dollar amount? We can save it. I think people probably already know how much he's being sued for.
$1.3 billion.
Billion dollars.
I don't know that 20 grand a day is going to cover it, even if Trump did pay him. This is quite sad news. Massive animals are invading Ireland. The fuck? Look how big these animals are. Massive badger. There's a massive fox in Northern Ireland. Oh my God. Stay safe, everyone. Stay safe.
So is this a book or something? A poster?
It's Libraries Ireland. So it's the Irish Libraries put out a thing with animals.
Oh,
and I just thought it was funny because they were big animals.
Yeah. Yes, I see. Yeah. And also a dolphin in very two-way far north.
Yeah, a little mouse washing his arse. It's good. Anyway.
Of course, that's what you would see.
Yeah. Oh, this is how I spend my spare time.
He moved his nose.
Now I know why he wakes you up in the morning.
He did a little roll,
Yeah.
And someone said, "I see your cute cat and raise you a rumba dog."
Yeah, who needs a vacuum cleaner when you've got a dog?
Yeah, Papa dog.
Stuff that falls out from your stove.
This is just a nice sentence. Joe Biden has erased much of Trump's presidency in less than a week. Good.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep. We'll have that.
Yeah. Good news.
Yeah. The Justice Department Inspector General announces an investigation involving Trump's unsuccessful efforts to get the Justice Department to take legal action in hopes of changing the election result, as first reported in the New York Times and confirmed by Pete Williams, NBC. So, yeah, Trump might be fucked, which is good.
This is the people are lining up to fuck him over.
Well,
I
good.
mean, this is just the Justice Department. There's also the state of Georgia, or that county, wherever the crimes were alleged to have been committed. Plus all the stuff that's going on with his taxes in New York. And that's before they really start to unpack some of the stuff he did at the Department of Justice. I guess this is maybe the legal actions, but more stuff is coming out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like in many respects, and this is going to sound harsh, and I'm not wishing any ill, but it might be best for him if he just dies.
Who?
Trump.
Trump?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would basically solve a lot of his legal problems. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because it'd be a bit rough if they put his corpse on trial. That's a bit unnecessary. That's quite literally overkill. Yeah.
And now you can say that without the Secret Service coming to see you. Now you're just stating like a legal fact.
Well, I would never
Not threatening the president.
ever suggest anything like that. I'm just saying he's an old man.
Hypothetically, yeah.
And the Reaper comes for us all. So.
Yes.
Anyway, oh yeah, Huckabee Sanders. She's going on about how she took on cancel culture. Even though she literally said of Jamil Hill's anti-Trump tweets that they were a fireable offence. I've already got.
This is going to be hilarious.
I've already got my cock out before, so I don't need to again. But yeah, you know, she's Arkansas. Please, like, I've got no great love for Arkansas, but I don't want to see you humiliated like that. That's just nonsense.
Please, people, have some self-respect.
Yeah. Even Cat's getting in on the mittens action. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep.
And then just a cute kitten.
Oh, so sweet.
And another one.
Just filled with wonder. What's that?
Aww.
Is this cute enough?
Aww. And then just a cat in the sunlight. I like the angles of the shadows as well.
Yeah, they framed it well.
They did.
Within the shadow of the window frame.
I did. And I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Did you have anything?
I had a couple. Yeah.
Okay.
So let me share the screen first. Sorry. Okay, this was a thing. I took out the name. Do you remember this from the Facebook?
No.
Okay.
Oh well, no, but I remember that. Yeah, the guy starts dancing, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, this wasn't the LBC thing. This is just a thingamabob. Kind of a funny thing. I'll only do the first one. So. Okay. Oh, sound. She dances still, he feels just right. How long before we get copyright claims? She dances at the crack of dawn and quickly cooks his food. She can't be late, can't take too long. It must get to school.
Yes, go on, lad.
So this actually, hey, join the fake. So yeah, this would be a good way to plug it. You can join our Facebook group and watch the rest of this video. It's a setup. I'll just let you know.
Yeah, obviously, yes.
Yeah, and there's a couple other guards who also do their own dances. So yeah, that was fun. And while you were giggling at that, I was multitasking and pulling up my. Oh, you can see my Hugh Phillips entertainment thing.
Yeah. Is that what you meant to do?
No, well, no, that's fine. It's not like privacy or anything. It's just I was listening to. I turn my room into a disco now every time I turn the music on. Yes, I wanted to talk about this one thing. We talked about QAnon a couple different times, and Louisa, whoever this is, thank you very much, mentioned this Reddit AMA that maybe people in the chat would be interested in. I can retweet this so you can go find it, but. Retweet. The person who's an XQ who is doing an AMA. And I didn't end up reading the whole thing because there's so many comments and sub-comments, subthreads or whatever. But I thought this was a really good thing to pluck out of it, which is, say, reading a Reddit AMA with a former Q believer, and he had a really insightful thing to say, quote, conspiracy theory thinking hooks the brain because it feels like it's critical thinking.
Yeah.
Unquote.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of the people like Alex Jones or whatever, and Jordan Peterson to an extent, they make people who are scared and or stupid feel like they're in control and or are intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do.
Yes,
They're selling
and they have
a
inside
feeling.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And a kind of truth. Then Louisa goes on to write, I also thought it was interesting what shook him out of it. A post from Q containing obviously false information about the field he worked in, computers. He realized the technobabble made no sense. So what else was wrong?
Yeah.
And he'd grown up in a fundamentalist Christian house, and so was primed with stories about how they only knew the truth and about things like evolution, end times, and the rest of the culture was just powerful lies. Perfect breeding ground.
Yep.
So just, if you want to read that AMA, you can go to my Twitter and check it out because I've just retweeted it.
You're good.
Oh, yeah.
You had Boss Kitty as well.
Yes, I did. So I'm not making this, I'm not advocating this seriously, but it does make a very powerful point, which is, hey, I got a plan. Let's take all these capital riders and separate them from their children. If it's good for misdemeanor border offenses, then it's good enough for felony insurrection, which obviously I don't want to like separate people from their kids. But the whole point is who is really committing the bigger crimes here?
Yeah, exactly.
How are people losing their kids over this?
Yeah.
How are they being separated like this?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Biden has a plan coming out. He's doing a process of assessing the family situation, and he's going to make an announcement, I want to say on the 27th of January, about what they're going to do for it. So this is the most adorable thing ever. I think I can, because it's a vertical video syndrome, I can do that, right?
I think so. I don't know.
I still see it. I can just or I'll start it and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's fine. It's a little bit.
Here's the bill for the vet today. Not really sure how you're going to pay that one. You do actually live here rent-free. I do buy your groceries. So, maybe get a job, contribute to society a little bit. This is getting ridiculous, dude.
Oh,
here's the bill.
So confused.
Yeah, look at the headphones.
Yeah.
He's wearing headphones. He's like on his computer, just slouching around, not contributing, just playing video games probably.
Oh.
The proper way to make mimosas. This I thought was this is a palate cleanser. Try to put some fun things in because, we can laugh a bit more now.
But because I keep seeing people make their mimosas wrong, I thought I'd clarify. Guys, a drop is still too much orange juice, okay? You waft. All right, all you need is air that was shared by the orange juice. All right, honestly, that was still too much.
So not a fan then.
Just air that was shared with the orange juice. This is also super adorable.
Oh.
I wouldn't parent like this, but then again, he's way healthier and fit, and that kid looked like he's enjoying himself. So I don't have these moves.
How to stand off. I didn't name them random mouse. Tugging in my Reeboks. Ride with a G.
Oh, that is cute.
Yeah. All right. I don't even remember what this is, but we're doing it all. I put it here for a reason.
I guess you didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me.
Oh, yeah.
You said forever, now I drive alone past your street.
It's the face as well. Oh, fucking hell.
That's good, huh?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought everyone would like that one. Fauci talking on what it was like to work for Trump. And it's like, it was always, a guy called me up, a friend of mine from blah, blah, blah. That's when my anxiety started to escalate.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, it's good to see him sort of released from the shackles.
Yes. Unlike the Kraken.
Yeah.
Trump's average disapproval is at 57.9%.
Impressive. He's impressively shit.
I also had the anti-German propaganda of the Telegraph. There you
Yep.
go. Oh, this one I thought was funny. You can read this out.
Me breathes. Peter Coffin and Angie Speaks. Huh. What he doesn't realise is that he's breathing air from trees and they were planted under the productive mode of neoliberal commodity fetishes. True.
Yes.
Like,
yes, this
I
one
just want to
from-
say to those people, it is possible to say entire sentences without saying the word neoliberal.
Yes.
It is possible.
Well, the Angie Speaks is actually right above there because I had to I did double take on. Go ahead.
No, I'm done. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh no, Angie Speaks. I don't understand what neoliberal means. It's such a big word. Here's my 400-hour video essay on the 900 manifestations of gender. Like, what the fuck?
I don't think anyone's saying they don't understand neoliberal. It's that you people use it to describe everything, and it's annoying.
Yeah. Like, I mean, neoliberal can mean different things to different people. So, of course, you want to ask someone what they mean by neoliberal.
Yeah.
So, anyway, also, here's another thing, though. I mean, another problem I have with, saying to people, you're not on the left because you're not anti-capitalist, is saying that the only left-wing issue that matters is the resistance of capitalism.
Yeah.
Like, being for racial justice is on the left. Being for women's rights and trans rights and all of that kind of stuff is also left. So, I am on the left. I'm not a liberal in a centrist sense of the term. Anyway, yep, you and I both had this one. Dog eating snow.
Just don't eat the yellow star.
Yeah, well, dogs. Oh, yeah, 1.3 billion. We talked about that already.
Yeah. Can he give you an IOU?
Oh, God. This is another one of the tools who works at Floater Eaters, with Antifa shifting their focus on Biden and the Democrats.
It's demon rats, if you don't mind.
It's unlikely they'll be treated as just an idea now.
What?
Because Biden said Antifa and anti-fascism is an idea.
Yeah.
And they just keep...
Well,
yes.
but as always, it isn't a group of people. But if people do smash up buildings, they'll be prosecuted for that. I genuinely don't know what they want them to do exactly. Well, I do. They want them to outlaw their political opponents, obviously, but that's disgusting. You shouldn't do that, really.
But the idea that Antifa, as sort of all anti-fascist, are now treating Biden as a fascist, and all Democrats as fascists.
Well, straw men are easier to defeat, Krista. Come on.
Yes, so much easier. After Capitol riot, police chiefs worked to root out officers with ties to extremist groups. My question is, why the fuck are they there in the first place?
I was about to say, you shouldn't have taken the Capitol riot for that,
Exactly.
but at least it's happening, I suppose.
Yes. And certainly in the Capitol, where it happened to the legislators, and they are Democrats who are running it, this is, I think, going to be an issue that they can't just sweep under the rug.
Well,
immediately.
Republicans should be annoyed, should be fucking scared too, and doing something about it, because they were chanting to hang Mike Pence, the Republican vice president at the time.
You'd think, but that's our voting bloc.
Well, maybe you need to stop that. Maybe that you've gone far too far down the Southern strategy.
Country over party, or cult in their case.
Yep.
Yeah, Tennessee man with zip ties at the Capitol could face charges of sedition and other felonies after the riot. But I know that I saw this reported, and that there are some in the Justice Department who are saying, well, if people just entered the building but they didn't do malicious violence, should we prosecute them all? And there are other people in the Justice Department who are saying we need to make an example of everybody.
Yeah.
And I saw that was reported. And while I kind of understand the logic of only prosecuting crimes that, have an impact, the whole insurrection had an impact. You don't apply, this isn't normal standards. This isn't like a mass sit-in, right?
Yeah.
Where some people committed vandalism, other people did civil disobedience, and you dismiss the charges. These people engaged in an insurrection.
Yeah.
You can't not prosecute them.
Exactly. They didn't strike. They climbed in through broken windows. I'm sorry. That what you're doing. They didn't stroll. They weren't tourists who ambled in on the off chance. They were. I mean, you don't necessarily have had to have tried to kidnap and murder Congress people to have committed crimes on that occasion. Now, in terms of punishment, if they're genuinely repentant and they didn't actually do any violence, okay, maybe give them a slap on the
they can
wrist.
throw themselves on the mercy of the court.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're genuinely repentant, okay, that's something. That's fine. Maybe make them pick up trash at the side of the highway for a few weeks, whatever. But yeah, these motherfuckers need to. Yeah, he needs to go to jail forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't. You do need, like, if we're going to do punitive justice, it needs to actually be a deterrent. You need to actually have people genuinely thinking, well, I would like to do some sedition, but I also wouldn't like to be in prison forever, so I'll not.
Yes, precisely. Precisely. This, I don't know how big it is, but
That's what she
kind of
said.
funny. Do you like to identify as a Christian, but like to conveniently ignore virtually every teaching of Jesus? Ask your doctor if the Republican Party is right for you.
It never ceases to amaze me how capitalism has become they've tried to co-opt Christianity. Motherfucker, when he said through the eye of a needle, he meant the eye of a fucking needle. Basically, he was being sarcastic. He should have been more upfront and gone, look, if you're rich, you are not getting into heaven. I was going to do a whole thing about the camel and the eye of a needle, but it was weird and sarcastic. So I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm just going to tell you right now for just to avoid any future, because I can tell the future because I'm God, you understand. So just to avoid any confusion, if you're rich, fuck off. And they went, Jesus is usually a bit more eloquent than that, but you know what? I admire his forthrightness. Good stuff.
There's a follow-up to this. I'll do in the same American selling drugs of all different kinds, because they have to read this out by law. Side effects of the Republican Party may include your elections last more than a month, intense dreams about overthrowing your democracy, inability to cope with reality, and a change in appearance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she started wearing flannel for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Like, you're worth $1 billion. Who are you trying to fucking kid?
Yeah, you're not a person of the people. You're not buying it. Oh, yeah, this is a great headline.
Yeah, we're eating shit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner right now, and aide to Kevin McCarthy tells Axios.
Thank you, Aid. Thank you for the best headline of my week so far.
All I'll say is, good, you deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, because I was planning on having this conversation with you before. It just talks about, a democratic socialist is one who seeks to restrain the self-destructive excesses of capitalism and channel government's use of our tax money in creating opportunities for everyone. Democratic socialists believe that both the economy and society should be run democratically to meet human needs, not simply to make profits for a greedy few.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's a yes.
So Kristi is a neoliberal, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I okay. Anyway, because
no,
actually,
I'm joking.
I was thinking, actually, it's more democratic. Social democrat is more.
Yeah, that's But at the end, run democratically. Okay, like that could be still socialist. Yeah.
Yes, but there's a lot of things in here that are pretty overlapping.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't like the way some people say it's cut and dried. Unless it's an absolute Stalinist state, then it's social fascism or something. It's far more complicated. You're talking about societies and huge economic forces and stuff.
Yes. I think you've already got that one about the Justice Department. Oh, this is Republicans already starting to duck out of 2022. They're like, I'm fucking out of here. Rob Portman of Ohio announced he won't run for re-election. And there's some talk about, Sherrod Brown's name is being floated. So, but I thought did he leave this? He lost maybe last time or something. I can't quite remember.
I don't know.
You follow Accidental Partridge?
I do, yes. It's very good.
So this must have been, okay, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, it's like people saying dumb, kind of cringy stuff, like Alan
Awkward.
Partridge would do, yeah.
Yeah. And we only have to listen to the first 30 seconds. And by the way, there's some fireworks in the background, which is basically what prompts the discussion.
Yeah.
But this is so Partridge. Okay.
And that was the first time I met Mark Hughes. So It's my wife now, yeah.
Was she concerned that you were talking too much?
I was just away too long.
Oh, you just left her on her own too long?
Yeah.
That's negligent on your part.
Poor that from me, isn't it?
You should have brought her over and introduced her to Mark Hughes.
Well, not to the toilet, obviously.
Oh, clearly. You're listening to Talk Sport, not Trevor's dating diaries, but we do have a situation here where the game has been stopped because of a raft of fireworks. I mean, they're all right, these fireworks. They're not Sydney. They're not New Year's Eve down on the South Bank. They're okay. But, any chance you could, stop it and we can crack on with the football, because that's what we're here for.
What dangers does the referee, Stuart Atwell, think is there for the players from these fireworks? Just because there's a few bits coming on.
Sorry, it was just that bit.
Yeah.
Not Sydney. It's not.
Yeah, they're okay. They're okay.
What if you could knock it off?
Yeah, I know.
A bit of good news on the issue of abortion rights. The U.S. Supreme Court hands a victory to advocates of abortion rights, wiping lower courts' ruling off the books that had upheld a Texas order banning nearly all abortions in the state during the COVID pandemic, coronavirus.
Good.
Yeah, kind of. Whew. This is Biden signing the executive order repealing Trump's ban on transgender people, and I think they're also saying anyone who was made to leave can have their cases reexamined.
Does she ever get to sit down?
She's
all in all these pictures. He's sat down, and okay, he's an old dude or whatever, but look, there's a chair there. You can sit down. Go on, and him. What the fuck's he did? What were you stood on parade for? Fuck's sake.
Well, maybe it would look more awkward if they were socially distanced in chairs, and I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of like aesthetic thing.
No, just stand next to him and gently cup his testicles. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, did we want to hear what he had to say? I actually hadn't.
I don't know.
We'll just hear a couple seconds.
I'm glad. I don't want to hear what the president has to say. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's fine. No.
I think
we can play it. I just meant in general. Like, I know he's not going to say something really mental. He might say something slightly racist because he's an old man, but he's not going to be like, actually, Mexicans are all rapists. So I don't need to check every time. I can just let it go.
No.
You know?
Yeah, I think that kind of the words he chooses is important because he sets the example now for the country, and so I'm wondering how he's sort of prepared. He's speaking about it.
What I want to know though is, when does the war on malarkey start? So far, very few executive orders mention the word malarkey, and I'm very disappointed.
Okay, here we go. Oh, you can't hear anything. Never mind. I'll just do the quote. It's way too. You can't hear that. You guys can't hear it, but it's a good thing. Hurrah! Yes, lies that lead to an insurrection are not simply points of left-right disagreement.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's.
I mean, you think you wouldn't have to say that out loud?
Yeah, that was what. It just struck me as like, well, yeah, of course.
But no, you have to actually publish that as an analysis in the Washington Post now.
Yeah.
Because that's the reality we're trying to recover from. Yeah. This is and this was also announced that Patrick Leahy is expected to preside in the impeachment trial, not John Roberts.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. Should we look and see?
Yeah, because I always thought it was
because the show.
In the first one it was Roberts, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Because isn't that usually the thing where the Chief Justice presides?
And I think that I don't know if the Constitution's. I think he meant the Constitution. I'd say mentions the Supreme or the Chief Justice, but I would have to look.
I want to get right to the impeachment trial.
No. Okay. Don't even talk to me. Okay. So yeah, it just says Chief Justice Roberts will not be presiding like he did for Trump's first impeachment trial, according to two sources familiar with the matter. Instead, Patrick Leahy, the president pro tem of the Senate, is expected to preside. The Constitution says the Chief Justice presides when the person facing trial is the current president of the United States, but senators preside in all other cases.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
Well, now we know. They'll probably say it's unconstitutional in Q-land, though.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Even though, but they hate Roberts. They think he's part of the paedophile cabal. So maybe they'd be happy with it. I don't know.
They hate him. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, that was. I'm done.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'll give you a chance to switch back to your meme or whatever you want.
Yeah, we got memes. Yeah. So, thank you all for watching and stuff. It's been an emotional roller coaster as always.
Yes, and I did see that Trans Gamer Girl recommended a movie to us for trash films because we keep not getting organized because doing Obama land is like complicated because of how we have to access it.
Because Kristi thinks it's not racist enough. Outrageous.
Stop lying on me.
Anyway, yeah, thank you. Yeah, and England won at the cricket this morning as well. That was good.
Oh, congratulations, England.
Yeah, awesome. In Sri Lanka, which is a real place. So, anyway, that was a bit partridge. Anyway, yeah, thank you all for listening and watching. Go and subscribe to Kristi. Otherwise, I will knock you that now won't. But yeah, go and subscribe to Kristi. And
generally, I put out like one show a week, so I'm not even that much room in your subscription feed.
True. Although that seems like such an odd thing that people go, "Oh, you put too many videos out." Not they don't say it to me, obviously, but like when people do that, you think, "Well, yeah, but is it that much of a big deal? You have to use one scroll on the mouse to get past those videos." Like, it's so dumb. Who fucking cares?
Hey, like if you put out 5 videos, like one a day for 5 days, that is nothing like what people who subscribe to Tim Pool get in their feeds.
Yeah, true. Or the quartering,
like
or whatever.
Yeah. Two Gods Not Dead.
That's a great film. What are you talking about? Amazing.
I still want to find a way for us
fucking
to watch.
Sorbo.
I looked high and low for Kirk Cameron Saves Christmas. I could not find a pirated copy anywhere.
Well, that's not even really a film. It's just Kirk Cameron whinging.
Yes, I want to see your reactions to it. Yeah.
Also, perfect time of year to do a Christmas movie.
Yes, in late January.
Yeah, perfect timing, sweet spot for the Christmas market.
Well, we're getting ahead of that August rush when people start putting out the Christmas ornaments.
Exactly.
We're starting Christmas 2021 in January 2021.
Any motherfucker, any basic bitch can fucking go in and do Christmas stuff in December. No, fuck that noise. January. Anyway.
We're a year ahead.
Exactly. We're a year ahead and a buck short or something. I don't know. Anyway, yes, go and subscribe to Kristi. Subscribe to me as well. The subscription button's there. It costs you fuck all. You can do that. You can go and follow me on Twitch. You can your social medias. There's the Streamlabs. There's Patreon. There's all of that jazz. You can go and check out the Happy Hour group on Facebook as well. And
watch the rest of that video.
If you apply to join that group, we will eventually get round to either accepting or rejecting you. But you probably will sit there in the folder for about 2 weeks because we are
might
lazy.
Need to add some more mods.
We are lazy. I got shit.
Pester us about it.
I got shit to do. I've got to film little videos of me poking cats. So, it's heavy times. Anyway, I'm going to kick you over to the Surfs to see whatever the fuck they're up to. And yes, thank you all for listening and watching. Yes, Jimmy Carter is still technically eligible for a second term. I don't know what that relevance to that. Yeah. I'd like to see him run again. That'd be fun. Assuming he survives. Fucking hell. Grim note to end on. Hummels. Something. Thank you all for listening and watching. I will see you all tomorrow. Actually, I think I'm doing a thing with Kurtz, the American guy. I'll get the thing out about that. Talking about stuff and things. They were on that call that we did.
Is that the one where you told your guy like he looked like an American eagle fucking an apple pie?
Yeah. I said bald eagle fucking an apple pie, and he was part of that stream. It's not that guy that I was talking about. It was someone else on that call, and we've stayed in contact. He's a good lad, so I'll be with him probably tomorrow, if he remembered, because he was the one that wanted to do it. So, anyway, thank you all for listening and watching. Goodbye from me and goodbye from Kristi. Say goodbye, Kristi.
Goodbye.